see it as something that was crazy.
But maybe we'll fall feared.
Yeah.
Diamond Akingia perform, maybe people will leave because most people actually, it was a loss to most of people. Watu wengi walienda huko juu ya Simba, and then maybe we'll fall feared nikiingia ni perform.
Yeah, but I think it was a planned strategy. But then I think the cry should be what will happen to the tickets that were already bought and the fans who are already on location.
But people enjoyed.
Yeah, because I'm also looking at Etanas because she's the organizers as well. But then the people are now, from the comments I'm seeing, people are blaming event organizers. There's a statement that Willis Raburo released. It's a long statement. Quote unquote, we deeply regret to announce that Diamond Platnumz did not perform. It's a very long one. I'm not going to get into it. But then reactions are coming in from left, right, and center. From Eric Omondi, this is what he said. It may tarry, but it will surely come to pass. Mungu Halali, we fought for Kenyan artists' music for 2 years non-stop. I believe in one principle: just plant, you will harvest later. You are tear gassed, even arrested for pushing equal treatment and pay for Kenyan artists. We demand, our demands are simple: equal treatment. Kenyan artists hawananga VIP tents backstage, while wengine huweko white. So I think these are some of the issues that keep on cropping up in the entertainment industry as well. You know, now Willy Paul's team clashing up. But I think if it was for cloud chasing, it's enough. But then also, there's one of the comments I read, the person was saying, I think at this point, these artists are too much. Like, we are hosting them back to back. Sean Paul was just in the country last week, the Jamaican dancehall, you know, reggae star. And then Etana, and then now Diamond Platnumz. And then I don't know who is coming again. And then in January, I don't know, we have Burna Boy still. Like,
it's
so
like in Kenya, we
Uncle
have a lot of
Waffles, who the concert was cancelled last week. So I think we should breathe kidogo to let them give us space.
I think in Kenya we complain economy, but in real sense, people have money to spend.
People are spending wads of money to attend these events, and they're being cancelled and they're losing money. Now, away from that, the political walls were also shaking. And I can see right here, there was a hashtag appoint IEBC now. Yeah. And this was after Supreme Court Judge Lenaola, you know, issued a complaint and said, you know what, when it comes to some of these other things, they are implemented too fast, but what of IEBC? But then as of yesterday, we saw a Catholic bishop joining in. We saw Bishop Ole Sapit joining in as well, saying, I think it's just in the nick of time to appoint or reconstitute IEBC. And then we also saw, I think we'll get into it, but then I'd like to just pick your mindset on what of the most outstanding parts, especially on the politicians who spoke. I think currently Kindiki, current deputy president, is trending because he said he believes it's delay in the courts he's actually blaming the courts for an injunction that has delayed reconstitution of IEBC, plus now many other voices coming in.
You know, that's he said they are saying they are doing, it's the court, it's the president. You see now the court, they are saying it's the president. The president, the people from the president's side, they are saying it's the courts. But coming to the IEBC, it's not more of what it will do in 2027. You see, IEBC as a body, it helps Kenyans. Without IEBC, you can't call back your leaders. Like, always even impeach the president, unless the president impeaches someone. Amwetu, so and so. Without IEBC, even leave alone 2027 elections, in between, up to 2027, IEBC at least secure hapo, the opposition can even, you can call for reassurance of the people that wanawafanyia kazi, your political leaders. Yeah, so IEBC is not all about what will happen in 2027. Because come 2027, we shall have IEBC. That's 100% sure. Before 2027, tutakuwa na IEBC.
Yeah.
But does it mean ikikuja 2026 itatusaidia? Because now that will be just for the election.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, IEBC should be there. And it's high time the president listens to people, because he listens to people. He says that he listens to Kenyans. Yeah, and Kenyans have spoken. A lot of Kenyans have spoken about IEBC. And it's about time, yes, I reconstitute IEBC. And at least we can hold our leaders accountable.
Right.
Through the IEBC of wafanya kazi yao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's one of the top trending stories here. It says, Kindiki blames court injunction for delay in reconstituting IEBC. There's then also a report on issuance of funds in the churches. Right, yes, here it goes. So Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has pointed to legal challenges as the reason behind the government's inability to reconstitute the IEBC. This comes again while speaking at Navajola in Kakamega County. He explained that a court injunction blocking the formation of IEBC retirement panel is preventing the reconstitution. And quote unquote, he says some Kenyans went to court and filed an injunction against the establishment of the retirement panel of IEBC. When there's an injunction, the government cannot do anything. But in October, that is just 2 months ago, the High Court in Kiambu issued an injunction preventing the clerk of the Senate, that is Jeremiah Nyegenye, from forwarding the names of nominees for the IEBC selection panel to President William Ruto for appointment. The order also restrained the publication of gazettement of these names until the cases are resolved. The petitioner Boniface Njogu raised concerns about the adherence to constitutional requirements, particularly regarding representation of persons with disabilities and elective and appointive bodies. It's such a long report. I'm not going to get to the whole of it, but this is what Lenaola pointed out. He warned that the prolonged hold-up could hinder the Commission's preparedness for the elections. He also pointed out that the National Assembly, for prioritizing politically charged legislation over pressing issues like still the IEBC reconstitutions. But then a section of Kenyans, including leaders led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, have criticized the government for failing to prioritize the establishment of the electoral body, citing mischief in government.
Actually, as we even talk about IEBC,
need dragging. Yeah.
As we even talk about IEBC and all about appointing people, a former IEBC chair, Hassan Isaac, funny enough, he was again appointed as the new IPOA chair.
Right.
The NGOs did not oppose, and according to some of my sources that I won't mention, there are claims that is a close family member of Aden Duale. Aden Duale, the former CS. So the former CS, you see, of what happened this year, extrajudicial killings. Again now, allegedly, a family member has been appointed as the new IPOA chair. IPOA is all about human rights. But then I've seen NGOs have not said anything about it. But the funny thing is, it just Isaac that can chair those bodies well, because he's a former IEBC chairman.
Right.
That Hassan Isaac. So I really don't know, is it just that in Kenya we don't have people who are learned enough? Okay, I'm not learned, I can't definitely hold that position for now, but is it we don't have any other people who can chair these bodies? So again, I hope that when the president appoints the new IEBC, because right now we don't have an opposition that could have come in and said, you know, let our people in the IEBC to make sure that there is that transparency in the counting of the votes. But I hope that we shall see new faces.
Right.
Yeah, because it was a little bit former IEBC chair, again now IPOA chair, allegedly a family member to Aden Duale.
Yeah.
It's like in Kenya, you need to come from a certain family, or you need to have some background in order to be appointed in these big offices. I don't know.
It's interesting because I remember also during the ouster motions, the proceedings in court of the former deputy president. I don't know how it turned out that one of the judges was a student to the current DP, and then there's another one who was also mentioned to be close to the president, and then Soipan Tuya. So it's interesting how these things play out. But anyways, as we move on away from that, so Sudi, Kapsaret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi, is now calling out churches for rejecting political donations. This is sadaka, pesa ambayo inatolewa kanisani kwa Mungu. Yes. And this is how it goes. So he has criticized church leaders rejecting donations from politicians, labeling them as pretenders. He argued that since the churches do not hold elective positions or receive government funding, there's no justification for rejecting contributions from genuine donors, quote unquote. Sometimes when development projects arise in churches, some believers avoid fundraisers due to financial challenges, yet others object to donations meant to help. So this is what he said at AIC Pioneer Church in Eldoret. He defended political donations as acts of thanksgiving, adding that he has contributed to church projects throughout his life, even before entering politics. His remarks follow the Catholic Archdiocese of Nairobi's recent rejection of a 2.6 million donation from President William Ruto and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja during a service at Soweto Catholic Church in November. So according to State House letter, it clarified that President Ruto has not been refunded the money yet, despite the church's public refusal of the funds. Sudi, also a close ally of the president, pledged to support with an amount of 27 million Kenya shillings, a Sunday school project in Eldoret, affirming his unwavering commitment to church donations and quote unquote, sometimes we pledge what we don't have, but through God's grace, we manage. Okay, maybe you can add ha 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 there. And then he also defended President Ruto, highlighting his long-standing tradition of supporting church projects and service to God. He criticized churches, citing ethical reasons for rejecting the president's donation, accusing them of hypocrisy as they had accepted similar contributions in the past. Last week we saw Member of Parliament Bungoma, is he governor or Lusaka? Bungoma, yeah? He issued a thing, he gave out 5 million Kenya shillings. And I remember him in the video, you'd see he brought the bag, a sack of bag, and removed this huge bunch of notes and handed it over to the bishop. And he said, huyu hakatai, huyu atachukua. But then it comes again as a backdrop of what National Assembly Majority Leader, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, saying, you know what? Some of those who are claiming they are refunded the money, it has not been refunded till today. So I don't know, but then the church has remained steadfast. Now it has joined forces now with even Lenaola in reconstituting IEBC. And I remember yesterday the president said in his address, you've just mentioned that at the EAC summit here, happening in Mombasa, saying the church is not in competition with the state and the government is not in, and vice versa, yeah? So I think these are some of the cropping up issues, but I think this is to just mount pressure on the government to do right, because there are so many things that citizens, and they continue to complain online. And I think what angered him the most is, what I'd say for me, maybe he's picking up quarrels and arguments, is when Kenyans were celebrating the cancellation of the Adani deal. And he went ahead and said, you know what, some of you have not even made it to the airport yet. I'm Jaifika airport, but yet you're celebrating. But then when you look at it, even before this happened, Adani had bad blood in their hands. They were being investigated for money fraud by, I think, a USA firm called Hindenburg, yeah? So this was all under their belt, but they still blindly went ahead and gave them the airport. But then when it was, you know, brought to light by a Gen Z whistleblower, and still Kenyans were refusing online from the X spaces. You'd go in the X space and people are ranting. I remember there was a time I joined Morarake Basu's TikTok, and there were people who were giving receipts and they were being played, and it was over 5,000 people on that TikTok live. People just refusing these things, but still nobody took to action until it was now officially cancelled after, you know, Gautama Adani was, you know, indicted in the USA. So I think it's really rivetingly shocking, yeah?
It's like in Kenya, there are people who know and there are people who don't know. Like, if I know this thing is good for you, then it's good for you. Until someone else outside there says it's not good for you. I don't know nianze na watu wa kanisa, the pastors, or I start with Oscar Sudi. Let me just start with Oscar Sudi. So first, I think it's high time people stop taking Oscar Sudi too seriously. Because he was ranked among, he was actually number 1 in the most silent MPs in parliament. Let me just read for you the names real quick. Oscar Sudi, number 1, MP Kapsaret. George Aladwa, MP Makadara. Irene Kasulu, MP Kitui. Irene Johi, MP Bahati. Matthias Robi, MP Kuria West, among others. So as you can see, Oscar Sudi is number 1 among the most silent MPs in parliament, where the actual work is done, where the actual policies are made, where the law is made, where the rights of the people are fought for. But the same people, very silent in parliament, but in the streets is the number 1 calling out pastors. But again, they deserve it, these bishops, because where will you refuse money on social media telling Kenyans that tumekata hiyo pesa? I think it's maybe because wanagopa kupoteza washirika or something, I don't know. You can't tell Kenyans that we are returning the money, we don't want the money, but in real sense, you have not returned the money. That's hypocrisy. But
I believe there's also there's a formula of returning the money. If it was given in cash, maybe they have to wait to go through the process of how it was received.
No.
I'm really sure. I'm betting on the person who delivered the cash is not easily available.
Or maybe they are waiting for the president to come take it back.
The person who delivered the money is not easily available to pick it back. So they have to wait, they have to write an email, make a phone call, and maybe perhaps, I'm sure they are not going to come pick that money.
So maybe they are waiting for the money to be picked, but if you want to return the money, they can easily, those bishops, the big people in the church. Bishop, unachukua gari, Uber, take your personal vehicle, I believe they have cars, go to State House or even to your area MP.
I don't think it's possible to go to State House, bro. That's another whole project.
To your area MP, you can just deliver the money. Or there were MPs there, MCS, deliver the money, pelekea kiongozi when we don't want it. Instead of telling Kenyans to make a pesa, just fooling us, but you are really taking the money. But
I don't think they are fooling us, because the church has always been, resolute. When they say no, it's no.
They are leaders, specific leaders.
Because, they are representing the church. Even from the stories covered, is the church is now standing up on appointing IEBC now. So they are representing the church voice at large. And as much as we've not seen contestant voices, it's all Catholic and the PCS. Yeah. So I believe they are, when they said they're not taking, because from the sentiments Anyolo shared, I don't think he's a joker. If he said no, I believe. But then, if you're saying if they've not returned the money, but then also you never know. It could be political salvos too. These guys are just playing political games. So maybe we need receipts. We need. I don't know if it's possible to have a background of, this is how it was given, this is a video, and now this is how it's been returned. Yeah. That's also a mystery. I think it's a Netflix movie that we're waiting to unfold. And still on that, and I want you to react on this as well, Kithure Kindiki, current deputy president, is calling out for fact-based criticism on government from church. And this is what he says. He has called on religious leaders to ensure their criticism of government actions should be grounded in facts to foster constructive dialogue and avoid unnecessary tension. Speaking at a church service in Kakamega, he emphasized on the importance of mutual respect between the government and the church, advocating for corrections to be delivered with decorum and love. Okay, for the first time, we are seeing the government saying they want to be addressed with love, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, they've not requested before, but we've never seen this. Anyways, so quote unquote, this is what he said: "We don't want to have tensions and disrespect. The government and its officials should not disrespect the church, but likewise, religious leaders must correct us in love. You should not correct us as if there is a problem." But then I saw a reaction and somebody said, why have you not compensated the 71 plus Gen Zs who were shot and murdered live on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera? But there was a report that said digital media was the most prominent in broadcasting events that happened, in June 25th, literally since the whole movement of anti-government protests began. So somebody asked, why can't you compensate the families? Why can't we have an official apology if you guys want to be addressed with love and care? Why can't it also be, demonstrate it as an example? If you want love and care from the church, also show love and compassion to the victims who were shot by police. But then it goes ahead and says, the deputy president remarks comes amid growing criticism from religious leaders across different faiths over government policies, particularly on tax reforms. Critics argue that the policies are worsening and the economic struggles of ordinary Kenyans. The issue has sparked debate among leaders allied to President William Ruto, with some accusing religious leader groups of biased criticism. And Sports Culture Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen also recently accused religious leaders of tribalism. Seriously. And quote unquote, he says, "I find it unfair that many people, especially the church, the media, and our critics are criticizing President William Ruto not based on facts on the things that we are doing, but criticism laced with tribalism." Hey, I think things are boiling up too fast. We are seeing unexpected, sentiments from both sides, and I think it's an interesting movie. Like I said, it's playing out in our eyes, and I'm sure, there's things that deserve to be addressed.
But it's funny you are telling Kenyans that they are tribalic based on refusing funds, refusing sadaka.
Yeah.
So how is that being tribal? Kukata sadaka, like there's no tribalism there. The only person that they allegations zenye wanapatianga mtu wa Murima, those are now, hizo zinaweza kuwa, they have some ground to be allegations, but now the church, there is no tribalism there. It was just sadaka na wakakataa because of a lot of things are happening in Kenya. The interns, doctors are on strike. That money, hizo pesa zote zenye zimekuwa zikipeanwa, sijui 6 million there, 5 million there, sijui 3 million here, taken together, they can be given to the doctors interns program. hiyo pesa tu ya Moi chukua tuambie aje leo the president have donated 20 million, Oscar Sudi have donated 15 million, so and so Kindiki have so and so. You donate that money and then give it to the doctors so that we can see. Then now you are, instead of the sadaka, kama madaktari wamekata that money, you can still do humanity with it. It's not a must you force it to the church. You don't need to force mtu kuchukua sadaka ati nimekupea sadaka chukua, wacha tribalism chukua.
Yeah.
Give it to the doctors, give it to Kenyan. A lot of projects zenye ziko stagnant. And then if you look of the president, I think the deputy Kindiki should not tell people to go and critique the government. I think it's high time they should come out with like a program in December before the year ends. Tell the people, hata hite to conference, we have done this and this and this and this. Because when I think of the Kenya Kwanza government, I can tell you the most bills zenye wamepitisha, water amendment bill, division of revenue. Like, I know the bills more than the projects that they have done.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the one who doesn't do research. But I think the government should come end of the year, tell the people, we have done this and this and this and this. Na hawa kina Morara, kina so and so, the opposition wamekuwa wakisema hivi.
Yeah.
Then let us compare. But instead of sending us to go and do research of something we don't know and we don't have the funds to do so, yeah, at least maybe something credible Kenyans can see, and who knows, maybe we will see the new DPs really doing something different.
Yeah. But then it's interesting because all we continue to see are just political happenings and activities, even as they are competing for, I know it's a, but the way it was dramatic, the ESC meetup, they're meeting in Mombasa. I think there was one that was traveling by bus, and then there was a troop now from Kenya that went by train. So the other one got an accident in between, and we really wish them quick recovery. So I think the drama is they're trying to, I don't know if it's from the critics online, they're saying, you know, they're just trying to blind Kenyans, create an easy breezy moment for people to try and forget some of the issues. You saw when they were competing for the race, and then, you know, yeah, Mvurya, I don't know who, and then the president. So just on a light moment, from what the comments were saying is that, you know, they just let him, you know, so that to ease the pressure. It's also coming up again as a backdrop of the sentiments he said over the weekend. Most of you have never been to an airport. And that thing angered a lot of influencers and just literally ordinary people, and they're reacting. I saw Lynn Ngugi's commentary on the same, and it was like, hey, sasa sisi hatujaifika airport, wacha tu, let's just enter into a boat and then hop into the airport and then come back at least with just a video and see. So I think, and then I think this comes again after the president had done that Wundanyi Taita Taveta, you know, was it a rally or was it a launch out of something there? So it looked like a campaign trail if you look at it politically, but then
actually talking of the airport thing and CS Joho talking that day, I saw on
he's the one who said wakichoma tunachoma, wakifunga tunafunga.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw something funny that the building of the Atalanta Sports Stadium to host the AFCON, the tender has been given to Joho, not the tender to build, but the land. Joho owns a piece of land, not Joho, but the family of Joho. And the piece of land is 79 acres. It's worth 9 billion. Billion. Yeah, along Ngong. Yeah, Ngong, along Ngong, yeah, in Nairobi.
Okay.
In order to build the Atalanta Sports Stadium. So I was wondering, this money couldn't just went to mahali where we have normal Kenyans who really need this money, who are unemployed, who have acres of land with nothing to do with it, and then they can buy the land, build the Atalanta there. I saw that story on a newspaper, on the front page, and I was like, I don't want to mention the newspaper, and I was like, there is, I think as a country we can do better. We can really help our people, the common mwananchi, the hustler, like that. Okay, maybe the land is well in a favorable place that maybe is accessible to maybe security, road, transport. But I believe that we have so many lands outside there. Zenye bado, they are favorable, and they could have helped the common mwananchi, given him the little 2 million, 3 million. That money could have been a source of maybe businesses to a lot of Kenyans. But again, you need to belong somewhere in order to get these things. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, still in the voice of performance from our leaders, so I think you had highlighted Governor Sakaja, who is but topped by Oscar Sudi, topping on the list. Hey, Hey. So Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja tops the list of governors who spent nothing on development. And I tell you, there's a list here. The caption of this online daily, it says, the splash of it says, 10 governors with zero development. That is the splash. And it says citizens of the affected counties deprived of key projects as leaders spend cash on payment of staff allowances and recurrent. I'm zooming in because it's very tiny. Because of cash payment of staff allowances and recurrent expenditure. The top are Moses Badilisha of what county is this? Well, I can't see it. Well, it's a little bit blurry. But the names are Jonathan B., Edmund Godana, Simon Kachapin, Weasley Rotich, Isa Timami, Simba Arati, Joseph Olelenku of Kajiado. Wow, okay. Johnson Sakaja, and then Benjamin Cheboy. They spent zero. So, but then the money was already disbursed from the control of budget. So it says, lastly, it says Nairobi County is leading 10 counties that did not spend a single coin on development in the year ended June 2024. So that means it's financial year 2022, 2023, or 2024, because the year has already ended anyways. According to the report by the Controller of Budget, COB, Margaret Nyakango, Governor Johnson Sakaja led Nairobi County along with the counties of Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kajiado, Kisii, Lamu, Nyandarua, Tana River, Uasin Gishu, West Pokot in failing to spend anything on development. Nairobi County has faced several challenges over the past year, the most devastatingly floods that highlighted poor road networks and lack of proper drainage in the capital. Let me just read part of the comments and then you can give your sentiments on it. Dimple boy, for real, huyo acha mchezo bana. Uko na lawyer, no? Unajua sisi hapa tuko na lawyers, on a lighter note. And then somebody says, simulipenda huyo, nyayo. What is it with dimples? Somebody say, empty debes. What crop of politicians is this? Kenyans need to wake up. Seriously, how did the but then I think my argument is, they took money already from the control of budget. Budgets were approved in billions, but yet they have spent nothing and that money is nowhere to be traced. So what is the magic happening, Yani? You took the money to do projects, but then you've not done any, and yet that money is not there.
So first, I believe that these people, they spend a lot of money during the campaign, and once you get into power, they want to get their money back. But it's so sad to the Kenyans, and I saw some media house, again, I don't want to mention, do some really nice investigative stories. And I believe that it's about time people who have this funding to do these investigative stories, like in maybe Nairobi, you receive these funds from the control of budget. What did you do it on? Mulitumia nini, wapi, kwa nini? So maybe these media houses or even us, someone up there, it's about time we start doing these investigative stories in order to hold our leaders accountable. Tukwe kioo cha jamii. According to Sakaja's words, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja dismissed the claims from the controller of budget, Margaret Nyakango, that his administration spent nothing on development. Sakaja akasema hivi. His county did not receive any disbursements from the National Treasury between July and September, relying instead on its own source of revenue for operation. So according to Sakaja, they didn't spend the money from Madam Margaret, the control of budget, because the county spent its own money. So I believe hizi maybe nizi pesa za kanjo and so on. But is it really factual, like, to do development in a city with only money from the county revenue? But I don't know. I don't even know anything about county revenue and spending. But according to Sakaja, he claims that pesa yao tu ndogo ndogo ya kanjo ni nini ya county ndio inafanya maendeleo hapa Nairobi. So they don't need the money from Margaret, from the control of budget. Then why don't they take this money, give it to the medical interns? Take this money, give it to where it's needed. Because according to Sakaja, they didn't need the money. They relied on their own money.
But you know, Nairobi, I think I'll still borrow your argument on the same. Nairobi County, I had somebody say it literally collects up to In fact, it's more than 4 billion monthly in terms of revenues from many other avenues that, create revenues, including small businesses and whatnot here. So I think it's a valid argument if at all they can independently, develop here. But then look at the roads. Was it just a couple of weeks ago when the rains have been pounding heavily? There's roads that have been impassable. It's literally
not
traffic.
Even impossible. Where I come from, there is no road. It's like the rough road.
And it's in Nairobi, yes, the capital city, the Silicon Savannah, of, Kenya, East Africa. But then you look at this money is being, collected in the name of taxes, licenses, and the drainage system, bruv. Like you can't even believe you're in Nairobi sometimes.
You don't need the money.
In fact, the traffic that's being, that's the travel ampers is because of, poor roads, impossible roads. Need the money. So I think something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done. And still another thing that needs to be done that also caught my attention was Kenyan officers in Haiti mission that are saying they've not received their pay since they were deployed to the mission, the peacekeeping mission that, was also met with dramatic turn of, sentiments as well, including now saying this was supposed to be a United Nations humanitarian, peacekeeping mission. But then the agreement was, I believe, with Biden to deploy Kenya to, foster it. But then they're saying maybe if Donald Trump comes into office, there might be a revocation, which I believe could work or not work, but we'll wait and see how it turns out. But just to point it out to you, it says the Multinational Security Support MSSS has dismissed claims that members of the MSSS Kenya contingent are considering resignation due to delayed payments of allowances. The force commander, Godfrey Otunge, called the allegations inaccurate and malicious, and adding that the source of the claims had not contacted the agency for clarification. And quote unquote, all MSS personnel have received their salaries, including monthly allowances, and no MSS personnel have tendered the resignation as alleged. So the claim suggested that nearly 20 Kenyan police officers serving in Haiti as part of the United Nations-backed anti-gang force had submitted resignation letters due to delayed payments. The report further claims that the officers had received no response for their letters and continued their service without even resigning through the officers who also still remain anonymous for the fear of being reprimanded. Otunge emphasized that the officers remain fully committed to supporting the Haitian National Police in their mission. And quote unquote, once again, he said, the officers continue to demonstrate dedication in their mission to restore peace in Haiti. He also urged the media outlets and stakeholders to seek direct clarification from the agency before publishing such claims. And quote unquote, lastly, he says, our doors remain open for transparent communication. So the MSS mission, lastly, was authorized by the United Nations Security Council in October last year, with aims to assist Haiti in restoring law and order amid escalating gang violence. And as of October this year, the violence has displaced over 700,000 people in Haiti. But I think the good news is they've managed to quash down, the storm. And even we saw Barbecue retreating. I don't know if he retreated or he disappeared or maybe he just calmed the waters down. But I think it's trouble brewing, because if there's word on the cup and hula baloo and some of this, brouhaha left, right, and center, I believe there's something in regards to payment. And if they have to sort it out, it better be sorted out like yesterday.
Actually, again, I saw an investigative series by a media house, a top media house. I don't want to mention the name, but if you go to YouTube there, you'll see it. It was, again, an official video done from Haiti by Kenyan police who are claiming they are not being paid. In Haiti, it's not like a story, ilisema, he say, she say. No, a video actually from police in Haiti claiming that they are not received their funds. Coming to look again from it, I believe that the Kenyan police in Haiti should come back in Kenya and fight the Al-Shabaab and restore peace and security during this December period in Kenya, instead of going out there to look for money in the name of high salary. But I believe what happened in Haiti was, you see the way in high school, the way you could maybe spy. I was not a spy, but there was maybe spies in high school. You could spy on your fellow classmates, dorm mates, in order for you to be upatiwe some maybe prefectship, kacheo, captain, maybe wadh, captain wadom na principal. So you give something out in order to receive some benefits, maybe some job of your own, some benefits of your own. So I don't know, maybe that's what happened in Haiti. And right now, Joe Biden is exiting, a new presidency is coming in, and the funding is not there. or it will not be there. So I don't know, but if you're a Kenyan police out there, just come back to your country. Tosheka na hiyo kidogo. Like some people in Kenya are really crying for that little Kenyan money. Ako kakazi tu, and you are out there risking your life. But again, go out for your family. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Wanaume
yeah.
lazima
Absolutely.
restrain.
Okay. Just developments on that. It says, barely a day after it emerged that the Kenyan troops deployed in Haiti for the UN-backed peacekeeping mission are facing financial crisis due to delayed salaries of allowances that go up to 3 months, with at least 20 officers out of the 400 deployed have tendered their resignation. So they cited delayed paychecks and poor work conditions in the Caribbean country where they were sent to tame notorious gangs terrorizing Haitians. So I think, but according to IG of police right here in Kenya, Douglas Kanja, he said the delayed payments have been paid until October. So I don't know, maybe there's a mismatch, or maybe there's a delay, because maybe they're in another country. So if they're saying,
it's difficult to transact money.
maybe there's a delay in between. Sometimes this way. I'm trying to just imagine a reason that could have possibly led
it can be true. You
to the
never know.
delay of the disbursement
Or
of
even the
funds. But I
network, you
think,
never know.
hey man, but this one is really, they need to be paid. Yeah, they need to be paid, because also when you look at what they're doing outside there, but then I think it's also a dilemma. Right here we have crisis that needs to be solved by our very own forces, and yet we deployed other forces outside. So, okay, it's still fine, but we wish them all the best of luck, as we trust the peacekeeping mission will successfully come to a close. I don't know if you saw the FKF presidency that was happening in Mata Sports. And so the good news is Hussein Mohammed elected the new president of the Football Kenya Federation. I know our first guest will also have a reaction on this, because he's a professional soccer player, football, in other words. So when you say soccer, like, hey, bro, soccer ni gani? But yeah, football, yeah. So Hussein Mohammed has been elected the new president of the Football Kenya Federation, FKF, together with former Kenya international McDonald Mariga, who will deputize him. Hussein takes over the federation from Nick Mwenda, who has been at the helmet of the troubled FKF for the last 8 years. It's so long. It's like, taking over a country. But then when you see that whole federation and some of the issues that even first, the athletics docket at large, from, poor conditions of the stadia, sometimes some of this, when we have, I remember there was a time when Omanyala was going to represent our country, I don't know where. They delayed processing his visa because money had not yet been released. But then they said money had been released. But the people who were accompanying him were already there at the destination a day or 2 days before even the person who was going to compete was to, arrive. So I think maybe these are some of the issues that will be resolved, but this is for the Football Kenya Federation that has some of the many issues pending. I don't know what caught your eye.
So what I really love, I'm not a big fan of football, but one thing I know, I support Chelsea and any team against Manchester United.
So Arsenal,
So
what happened yesterday? Arsenal.
So I believe that change, these two things, change
Right.
comes for the better or for the worst. So it's either, but I believe that Mariga knows a lot about football. He has
Do you know
been in the
Mariga
game.
tried something in politics? Was he
Yeah.
vying for Kibra?
Yeah, Kibra MP. And he didn't.
He didn't get it.
yeah.
But this time around, he's getting it as a deputy president in
Because he belongs
FKF.
there, yeah, that's his
Yeah.
journey. God is like, Mipanga Mungu, it's like
But
are
you,
there.
you just don't know how he might morph into, leadership in 2027. I'm sure right now, if he gets into this sport, he's getting that grace of morphing into,
if
politics.
he does a lot of changes between now and 2027, why not? People might give him a chance. But so him with the experience of football, maybe the change might be better. It might be worse, but I'm no prophet. But let's just hope for the best, because we have seen a lot of scandals in the FKF.
Yeah.
So let's just hope for the best.
Yeah, especially money given to, even pay the sportsmen. It has not been delivered. Them being stranded at an airport somewhere outside the country with no food, no
Asking
nothing.
for funds
Yeah,
from
there's
Kenya.
even some who had carried home food, but yet they're overseas. So shame, bro.
It's a
Shame.
big shame.
Shame. And still away from that, another shameful act is a fake gold scammer arrested for defrauding foreign national of 333 million Kenya shillings. That's a huge amount. That's a huge sum of money. So detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, have arrested Steve Odek, alias David Bet. Steve Odek and David Bet, his alias is David Bet, but his real name is Steve Odek. You know, I'm trying to look at it in a different...
Many faces.
Yeah, you know. So for scamming a foreign national of 33 million Kenya shillings in a fake gold deal involving over 500 kilograms of counterfeit gold. Odek, a suspect fraudster, was apprehended by detectives from the operations of the support unit. According to the DCI, the victim entered into 2 separate agreements with Odek to purchase gold, with the first deal on February 6 of this year for 500 kilograms. That's a lot, yeah? And then 5 million per kilogram. What? 5 million is a lot, bruv. And the second on March 14th of 2024 for another 580 under similar terms. Wow, it seems that space is really lucrative, but so here, despite the conditions, Odek failed to deliver the promised gold. To maintain the scam, he provided only 20 kilograms of gold bars as collateral, which was stored at MySafe Vault. So he had real gold, okay.
Yeah, he had some real gold.
To just blind to seal the whole deal. Yeah. So the victim remained unaware that he was being scammed and ended up paying a total of 33 million Kenya shillings through 2 law firms. Oh my goodness. And Owano Associates Advocates and Alata and Co Advocates. That's according to a report by the DCI. So what happened was, after receiving the money, Odek attempted to defraud the victim of additional 24 million Kenya shillings extra. But however, his fraudulent scheme was exposed, leading to a police report and subsequent investigations. And detectives later on recovered 20 kilograms of gold that had been provided as collateral. Man, like this is a hot deal.
First, I feel like this is a to that hot deal because
you know,
he scammed someone that 3 million and then got caught trying to scam
24 million.
24 more million.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I believe in Kenya right now, if you ask someone, but again, you ask someone right now, they will say that, oh, unemployment, oh, sijui ni Ruto, oh, but now the president has nothing to do with this. This is only in Kenya. In Kenyans, I believe it's happening out there, but in Kenya mostly. Kenyans have started loving easy things, quick money, pesa ya haraka, pesa ya kuibia mzungu, pesa ya kuibia your fellow Kenyan.
Yeah.
And it's not nice. But at least right now, your days are numbered. Kama siku za mwezi ni 40 za scammers, zinachezea hapo 38, 39. Yeah, because of what's happening. If you are a scammer, tosheka. Yeah. Leave people's money alone. Because the Tama will kill you one day. Soon, actually. I'm going to get you in prison somewhere.
Yeah. But it's coming against a backdrop of what happened last week. Interpol nabbing.
Yeah, 24 Kenyans.
Yeah, who are, you know, doing the carding business. And at some point I was scrolling through IG and I saw somebody he had shared something and I responded, I'm like, bruh, are you sure this? So I'm like, so how is this transaction made, you know? And do you have any background on how it's made, how carding happens?
Take care of your bank cards. Yeah, if you are out there, you are working, you are maybe earning some good money, just don't share your transaction with anyone. Don't connect to people's Wi-Fi. Usikue mtu wa kuomba Wi-Fi. Yeah, because through the Wi-Fi connection, some people can learn a lot of transactions that you can do with your phone. You connect with the Wi-Fi, maybe do some bank transactions. Someone with coding skills good enough can see it. If you leave your card, someone takes a picture maybe of the front and the back.
Yeah. So how are they able to? Is that, are they able to hack into the account?
There are some apps that they, I don't know, you link, you scan, you see the way you can scan something and you see the price with Google.
Yeah,
I
with a QR code,
Yeah, I believe it's that sort picture they scan. Yeah, just take care of your cards.
And then after some time you find your account is zero.
Yeah. Oh. You don't even know how it happened. Or again, be very careful of people texting you with foreign numbers.
Yeah.
Unashtukia tu mtu ameweka kidipikia mzungu na namba ya majuu. And then text you, befriends you, and then you start
or hi, I'd like to be your friend.
Or you see a mzungu akimbaba there on the DP. There in Facebook, in IG, maybe in
Yeah.
WhatsApp, be very careful.
But then there's also this random text. I think it also happened after Trump was announced winner. And I remember CNN highlighting it, where I think there was like a viral, what is it called? There's a word for it here, where people are being texted, you'll be picked to go pick cotton on this day and da, 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 da. But then also when you revert it right here in Kenya, there's a way Safaricom is also trying to sensitize Kenyans on, especially there's this common text where it says, pay your rent on this pay bill, please, da, 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 da. And I think it happened to someone I know who recently paid a huge sum of money to that pay bill. And after tracing it to the landlord now, it's like this person doesn't exist. In fact, the landlord is shocked that you're receiving such a text saying we've changed our accounts of payments this month. So I think it's something that Kenyans should be wary of, and especially if you're not privy to conversations about, carding, online, there's a word for it as well. So I think it's good.
Scamming.
Yes, you need to just be
very careful.
Be cautious, yeah. Be
Or
cautious,
if possible, there is a way that you can program your money. Your money comes to you and it pays everything automatically. To avoid easy rent, sijui lipa hapa. You just program, your money comes, inajilipa rent, inajilipa Wi-Fi, Netflix. Yeah, and whenever you get these messages, sijui you have won, sijui winner, ask yourself, did you really play it? Win how?
And then there's also this link, so you click on this link and then win 10,000 holiday. Win 10,000.
How?
First of all, you yourself, you've not clicked on the link and won that 10,000. You want me to click on it and win, 30,000. So I think there's some things that don't make sense. And I think it's time that Kenyans also continue to take precaution. Well, I don't know if you saw what happened in Syria, the Assad. The Assad.
Over, even the president had to vacate.
What caught your attention? I think I was watching CNN late last night, where the caption was CNN was I think they were doing a town check through. The way they dramatically write their lower thirds. CNN is walking through the town after the Assad movement falls, and then the rebels have now taken over. So I think that was the center stage part of last night on CNN's.
Yeah, so even the president of Syria had disappeared. They even labeled him missing until later CNN confirmed that he was in Russia. So a lot of things are happening around the world. It's see Kenya pekee tuko na hizi mashida, like a lot of things are happening around the world. It's like people don't love your presidency. They stand up against you. Again in South Korea, the same thing was happening. South Korea, people are there on strike, the doctors, all bodies, because they want the president to step down. So I don't know, but the funny thing in Syria, I saw people having guns on the streets.
Yeah.
Watu wako na AK-47 on the streets.
These are civilians. So
Yeah, in civilian clothes. Taking bullets to the air. Wow. I don't know, but may we never reach there again.
Absolutely. And I think also Trump was, I think for the first time since he was announced, he's traveled to France to meet other leaders as well, including Biden. Biden was in Angola, by the way, last week here. So we're seeing some of the American leaders now coming to Africa. I can't wait for Trump to visit Kenya someday.
Will he?
I'm praying
Really?
he does.
Someday, or before
I'm praying he does.
I hope your
it will be
prayers come to
big. It will be big, I tell you.
Inshallah.
Anyway, speaking of big, we have to have also a big exit shortly. So Manu, tell us your socials as we exit Pole Pole.
My socials are Burning. In days they call me Dollar. In the ways they call me Burning. But my name is Burning Dollar. Emmanuel Matagaro Mogaka. Yeah, my beautiful 3 names today for the first time.
Okay. And at 1254 channel, we come back with our first conversation of the day with our guest, who is live with us in the studio. Towards the tail end, we'll have a comprehensive banter with 2 gentlemen as well, talking about the holidays. But the first conversation is about unlocking your career vision and purpose. So our guest is already live in the studio with us. He's also an author, plus many other things he's accomplished for himself. He went to State Tour and something interesting happened to him that entirely changed his life, and he's back right here with us once again to share with us his journey, his experiences and his unique sentiments on how you can unlock your vision. So we take a break, we come back shortly. Stay with us at Brand Circle 101. See you in just a bit.
Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1 dakika 5 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kendrelby. Wagwang, my name is DJ Kuch pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalandu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi. Wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi peke.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize uongo, ndo bebe kawale tikiza kamongo.
What's up everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most stand-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness. Mad music na always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable, they know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we couldn't even explain. Yes. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
Everything. What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. Yeah. At that moment, he was supportive. Yeah. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
This week on The Buzz, we let you in on how the CISO runway fashion show went down. Our little secret is the perfect rom-com for you and your boo.
This is for you. Look, it's a skirt top. Fast and easy. Here we go.
We will highlight the life story of Mike Tyson.
It's all I ever lived for. It's all I ever lived for.
Sarah Kabu has been the talk of town. Find out who the mystery woman on her viral video is. We have plenty of entertainment for you, so be sure to tune in on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with me, Eve Nyaga, so that I dish out all the tea.
Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Inakuaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1 dakika 5 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kendrelby. Wagwang, my name is DJ Kuch pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalandu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi,
Sisi wenyewe mabosi wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Shining in the setting sun like a pearl upon the ocean. Come and feel me, oh feel me.
कुछ कुछ होता है क्या करूँ हाय
पी लूं है पीने का मौसम
तेरे संग इश्क तारी है.
Y254. Imagine.
Absolutely. Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. This is the first conversation of the day. Interact with us on socials and let us know where you're watching us from. Remember, we've loaded our questions right there. We'd love to see and hear your feedback, but towards the tail end. Today, I promise, I'm here all alone and we're going to have fun together. I'll ensure that I sample. Now, in this first conversation of the day, our first guest who's joining us, he's had to go through a journey of self-awareness, self-discovery, and literally mastered his art of awareness and unlocking the eternal treasures within himself. Today, he's here with us to share how to unlock your career vision and purpose. Something interesting happened to him when he moved to the States in 2019 that entirely changed his life till today. From the lessons, the experiences, the failure, and overcoming the utmost of the difficulty. But he's finally back. Thank you so much, Muli.
Thank you.
Mr. Muli and Muindi. He's also an author of, it's called, this book, it's titled The Narrow Path, Mastering the Art of Awareness and Unlocking Eternal Treasures Within. At 22 right now, or 23?
22 right now.
Yes, you're already an author, man. That's incredible. But now let's get into this conversation. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I think today is Monday. Could have been on Friday, yeah? We were just arguing how to, you know, face your worst fears. And this is because he had lost his dad. And I was trying to encourage him and I was telling him, you know, sometimes what you feel like is the worst that has happened to you after some time, you realize after you've gone through that season, it was the best thing that could have happened to you in that time. But because maybe you interpreted it as, you know, it's painful, but then you learn something from it. So through the pain, you learn something. I don't know if you'd agree that sometimes maybe when we go through adversity, we like to see it as something that has come to finish us, or maybe we are not supposed to go through it because it's negative, but then at the end of the day, there's a lesson through it if you squint closely and look through it with the other filter. Yeah.
100%. I think pain is the greatest teacher, especially in a man's life. Because when you truly understand that your perspective determines everything that you go through, and your perspective of the situations you're currently in, for example, your friend dealing with grief, if he's able to see the perspective that this is not to destroy him, but is to make him into something else, and rather really strengthen his mindset. Because the struggle is, right, why I wrote this book, it's because a lot of, even the title, Mastering the Art, I've not mastered it. I can't say I mastered the art of awareness, because if you know this journey, you understand it is a lifelong thing.
Okay.
And me being young, a lot of people question, why did I write such an in-depth book at my age?
Sure,
you know?
absolutely.
But one of my mottos is, purpose knows no age, but it knows the postures of the heart. So if you're very inquisitive and very curious, like how I have been as from a young, early age, those are the things that carried me and made me pursue knowledge, pursue principles, pursue laws of the universe and everything. And that has helped me truly understand that one of the significant things that really helps you get on track with your purpose and vision is adversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Incredible. I've read your book. It's an interesting 92-page read. But then it's also incredible how you incorporate spirituality into the story in your book. But we'll get to that in just a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe now for person who is working down the journey of unlocking a career path for themselves. You know, sometimes you are lost for choice because now we also live in a world of so many options here.
Yeah.
But then you want to specifically focus on, I'd say, something that can possibly maybe long-term, yes, long-term, but it can add you legacy, it can earn you experience and expertise, but most importantly, make you money. But then there's hurdles in between that you have to go through before you hack the ultimate success. So if you were to, I'd say, maybe speak to young people and the Gen Zs who are watching this conversation, where do you begin your journey of now setting yourself on the path to walking into a successful career path?
I would say, based on a Bible verse I know, I think we're in a generation that is slowly becoming godless. And so I know this may not be something people will be like, it's interesting. But however, there's a verse that says, seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. In that context, Jesus, who I believe was a master teacher, was revealing the importance of seeking what's within you. And later in a verse, it doesn't reveal that the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven is out there, but it says the kingdom of God is within you, the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Okay.
So basically, if you don't take time and spend time with yourself, I don't think you'll ever be able to even understand your vision. And another Bible verse, which I believe I'll be referencing a lot of, even my book has referenced a lot of the Bible, is there's certain principles, and principles are timeless. Whether you believe in it or not, or are conscious of it or not, a principle will always be in effect in your life. One of it is where there's no vision, the people perish. So that's actually a very scary verse to really deep. And then secondly, God says, my people perish because of a lack of knowledge. So when you take a different perspective, a very introspective perspective, and find out within yourself, what is it that you actually want to do in this world that, as you said, can create a form of legacy. Because again, I say purpose knows no age, because I had this epiphany almost that there's nothing guaranteeing that I'll be here tomorrow. Absolutely nothing. However, that put in me such a very stirring, curious desire to now find out the solution of how can I leave a significant footprint on society that I didn't just come and I didn't just leave. Because there's so many people nowadays that are just existing. And that is something that this whole year I've sort of been trying to get people to understand, that there's there's two different things. You can exist and then you can be living. And living is now what I mean with you're very intentional with your purpose. And that's when you understand what it is that you're supposed to do on this earth. And so a purpose is not something that you can get unless you do take that time, significant time, to spend time with yourself, sort of detach and escape all the noise that is in our society today. Like everyone is just completely consumed with noise. The moment you wake up, you don't even give yourself time to breathe. You just get on your phone immediately. And so your mind is not even able to process anything, any ideas, any visions you sort of had when you were asleep. Because there's a verse that does reveal, God reveals things through our
dreams
nights.
and visions,
It says where there's, God speaks once and then twice, but man does not perceive it. Already that's a problem. But God's mercy says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, he opens the ears of man and seals the instruction. So that he can help man from falling. So in other words, God's mercy gives us, he speaks to us, but because we're not perceptive of his voice, he comes to us in the dreams and when we're consciously asleep, and he seals an instruction. So when you realize I have no clarity, I have no vision, it's because most of the times you're not paying attention to your nighttime, or to when you're not consciously thinking of things. So a lot of the greats, a lot of geniuses, people who have done massive things in this world today, speak of one specific thing, is that they are very conscious of their own self-time, meditation, and allowing their mind sometimes to wander. That's where the greatest ideas, the greatest inventions come from.
Yeah.
But many people don't practice that.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't get their solution.
Yeah, but sometimes I understand, sometimes when you want to get into a profession, you consult already people that maybe sometimes are on that trajectory or on that path to just hear, how is it, where do I start, where do I begin my journey from? But then I love the fact that everything that you say has a spiritual aspect to it in terms of quoting the Bible and quoting a scripture literally, yeah?
Yeah.
But then now for a person who is simply just living, you've said there's a difference between existing and living. You are just living, like me, I'm just there, there's nothing. So how do you gain, I'd say, maybe let's use the word intent. How do you put intention in your life so that you start chanting a path that has purpose, that now by the time you're getting into a profession, you are living, I'd say, a purpose-filled life that's fulfilling and it's fruitful, and also it's radiating and giving, you know, energy to a community of people around you. The last time you were here with Stephanie, by the way, I still remember you did not have this hairstyle.
Yeah.
You had a different hairstyle, and you were talking to Steph. She was interviewing you.
Yeah.
You said sometimes it's cool to find your tribe, the people you resonate with. I still remember that you said it, yeah? So if you were to maybe paint a panoramic view to our audience, what would you say on that one?
For me, it takes me back to when I was in the US. I went to the US just a guy who football was taking in places, you know, because I went there on a football scholarship. I'd really worked hard here locally first to kind of get myself in a position where I can now go and pursue my dream of playing football at a very high level. So I went into Pennsylvania 2019, and that was now the beginning of a lot of the turning points that happened in my life. So first you know, I had this desire of just finally experiencing foreign women. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, sometimes you can get tired of the normal kienyeji here. And you know, your eyes just want to experience more, but
so the curiosity was just well.
Again, curiosity was my thing. That was my biggest strength.
So when you ficad in States, what happened?
So now when I get to the States, COVID happens. And what I didn't even tell the people is I went to an all-boys sports school.
Okay.
So I wasn't even, there was no women. We had a women's school similar to us, but we never used to get to meet them because, again, even COVID was not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks into the school, we get an announcement, school is shut down for the rest of the semester. So I'm like, okay, where do I go now? So I now went to go stay with one of my friends in Michigan. And it was just us guys chilling, just being guys, you know what I mean? And everything, we made a situation to have fun out of everything. However, I was learning a lot of things about myself, a lot of things about how I relate with people through that experience, and it taught me a lot. But then now, 3 months into that experience is when I had certain convictions internally. That is the first beginning thing I can start telling people, is pay attention to the convictions you feel internally, of a conviction telling you to stop something or a conviction telling you to do something. Most of the times, conviction is a green light into the next journey that is awaiting you. So for me, the conviction was, listen, I was talking to quite a bit of girls at the time, and I felt convicted of what I was doing, but I was like, you know, it's not really bad.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing anything evil per se.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't in...
And now with the lockdown, bruv, come on now.
Exactly. It was just perfectly for me to entertain myself.
Uh-huh.
However, there was just a voice internally telling me, you're built for more. You're built for more than this. So there may be someone hearing my voice and they can resonate with what I'm saying, is because once you start hearing that voice, you're built for more, that's your cue to now drop everything and pursue it. And so for me, I said, okay, you know what, because I had grown up in a spiritual household, I have been conscious that there is a God, that life is way more than what meets the eye. Life is very spiritual. So I had to understand that this is a sign from the Most High, the divine speaking to me. So I paid attention to it. I said, you know what, if this is from you, make yourself known to me. And in the next morning, my heart changed. It's like my heart had been completely transformed. I had zero desire to do certain things that I was doing. I didn't want to be as selfish or as greedy anymore. And that was kind of the beginning of identifying sort of the path that I'm on. And so I was very curious to now understand myself. And I think that is a huge thing many people need to do, is take time, even before you start doing job applications or pursuing a certain career path, Take time to really see within yourself what it is that you actually are good at, what it is that you're actually going to have value at, what comes to you easily, because that's again how you identify those gifts that are within you, is what comes to you effortlessly. You know, so some people, like you, it's speaking. You know, you're effortlessly good at speaking.
Thank
so
you.
it definitely makes sense that you're in the career path you're in. So for some people, it may be tech. They may be very creative designers. Some people, it may just be sports. And through that, for me, it was sports that gave me the door to go to the US. So again, it was a gift that gave me potential to connect with so many different people. Like from football, I have so many different good friends. So you meet a world. It's a world of so many high achievers, people who are very, very passionate about what they do. So the world of sports is definitely something I'm so privileged to be a part of. However, then, you know, it's a limited career. So for me, I was also very much thinking of, okay, what after or what during? Because it's potential for so many risks, injuries, and that's something I struggled with a lot in my career, is just unnecessary injuries, not knowing how to treat my body right, not knowing how to maintain myself throughout the whole year, fit-wise. So yeah, those things you sort of learn and start to identify within yourself that really help you know where to start.
To carve, interesting depth explanation. But then also, when you look at someone who wants to venture into now, sports is another forte as well. Journalism is another. Let's say now somebody who wants to start, let's give it an easy example of, though starting a podcast is not easy. Let's say someone who wants to start a podcast, and you also talk about, because you have a family podcast as well that I'm a big fan of, I and Stephanie. If you want to start something and deep down you're having this sense of, I might start, but maybe it might not work, but then something keeps on telling you, just start, you know, try. But then another voice also keeps on telling you, it might not work. So how do you arrive to, I'd say, listening to this voice? I think it was one of the conversations, or maybe it was a TED Talk, where this person was saying, your gut instinct is also your spiritual voice instinct. It keeps on telling you and reminding you sometimes of the things you shouldn't do and you should do. But like you've said, we ignore that. So when you're lost for choice, or when you feel like you're stuck, sometimes it's just unpredictable, where, you know, what can I do next now? But then for a person who's still there, how do they morph into something sensible? Or do you just go out there fearful? Do you go with your guard up or your guard down? Like, how do you space up?
Well, for me, you literally have to close the gap between when you conceive the dream or the vision or the desire and to when you're actually implementing it and you actually take those actionable steps. You have to make that gap thin as possible. So the moment you conceive, you do. Don't allow those thoughts to sort of confuse you, because again, in the book I do talk about the different voices you hear within you, and it's so profound, because that chapter is called Learning to Rule Your Spirit, because a lot of people neglect the spirit aspect of themselves. So in the journey of wanting to know, oh, should I do this, should I not do this, you just need to act. That's the one thing that I should literally say to people, because for me, just this year, I've done 3 events. I'm doing another event before the year closes off. And there's always risk for failure. However, I don't care about failure. I just want to do it, because I know internally there's a vision I've conceived of myself, of who I know I will be. And these are just the things, the baby steps you sort of know you should take amongst the journey of becoming that person. And so you just sort of have to not care about, especially when you do have a vision that is very much bigger than you. You most of the times, 90% of the time, the people around you will not even be able to understand it. And that's something that a lot of people need to understand. If you're a visionary leader, you're someone who's very wild in your imaginative thoughts and the ideas, the concepts you have. You know, Jesus says a prophet is without honor in his own hometown. So you know, the people around you will not even catch what you're doing. They may not even have that revelation of who you are. You know, they will probably say, who is this guy trying to do this? Like a lot of people, even in my career now, just from where I started and have reached this place, a lot of people think I've been doing this for almost 10 plus years. And I just
because you're an author of a book at 22.
Exactly. You know? I'm like, it's grace. It's genuinely grace, because I would not be articulate as I am if I hadn't gone through the sort of training I had been through in the US. Because when I did take that turning point, I went into sort of just acting. Like I'm very much curious, inquisitive, but then I also want to do. Because the experiences you get is what, like, for me personally, you teaching is one of the greatest ways for you to understand what you're teaching.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very great teacher. So when you implement the strategies or the ideas you have and you see the fruition of it, you get such a, I wish I could even say, you get such a high, a very adrenaline-filled feeling that I wish everyone could experience, and that's passion. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing in what they're doing. Most people are going to their 9-to-5s every day like they're zombies, not really enjoying the present moment, not really seeing anything more than what they're doing. And fairs, everyone has their own journey, of course. However, if you're not doing in your own time, because you do finish your job 5 p.m. whatever, but then you have 5 till maybe midnight to do something of substance. But most people go on TikTok, Instagram, and just
they substitute their other part of the day with social media.
Everything, every time they have to potentially create a different version of themselves, they stop because they now go into other people's lives on social media that don't even know they exist, instead of rather giving themselves the attention.
Time to debrief.
Exactly. You need that, especially if you want to do something of impact in today's world. You need to be very self-conscious and aware of who you are.
Yeah, interesting, incredible. But then when you look at it morely, it can be really daunting if you want to start something and you've envisioned it to be so massive. You know, I think it's one of the philosophical leaders who said, my dream is so bright that I can see it burning my eyes. Maybe not the right exact words here. Maybe you have this big, amazing, fantastic, exquisite, amazing vision and or dream or goal, and you want to execute it and achieve it. But then when you look at the people surrounding you, you don't see any possible support that could possibly make your dream come true. And that again can just, you know, drain you or make you lose the passion. But here you're saying you just go for it.
Yeah.
So how do you go for it, bruv, and you don't have the support that you need to pump and fuel you and inspire you to jet set yourself on the runway?
A lot of people need to escape a victim mindset. Because if you truly conceive a vision and a purpose, you become pregnant of it. A pregnant person, when they're in labor, no matter who's around them, they will release what it is that they're carrying. And so in your journey, in whatever you're pursuing, you have to pursue and actually implement the things that you're doing. Because one of the things is, I like to say that most of the time people don't, they wait for everything to be correct. All the events I've done this year, I've done by faith, generally speaking. I've not waited for things to be in perfect alignment for them to happen.
But you say it's timing. I was waiting for the right time to strike.
Exactly, and that's something. There is the time to do certain things. However, most of the time when you do conceive it, the time is very near. So it's more about you need God on your side, because life is spiritual. Most of what we see today in terms of success in the world, many people have done spiritual practices behind closed doors to make certain things happen. And you know this, we have these type of conversations. We know that there's a lot of spiritual things, even in the music industry, even in the movie entertainment scene. Everything is done behind, there's a spiritual backing behind it. So with us who fear God, you know, many Africans, they fear God. It's very important to make sure that as long as He's the one who's given the vision, you don't even need to worry about who needs to provide. You know, the people around you are not feeling the same passion you are concerning whatever it is you want to do. You just have to understand that God, when you do it, literally the Bible says it is impossible to please God without faith. The law of faith is one of the most profound laws that I have learned to apply. And I think when you do move with that faith, because faith without works is dead, according to the scriptures. So if you have faith, you're supposed to do something, and you don't do it, it means you don't genuinely have faith. Because faith has to be followed by an action. And so if you're waiting for certain things to be in perfect alignment, because I have these conversations with people on a personal level, because a lot of people ask me counsel on, I feel like I should, for example, many people feel like they should be content creators nowadays. They don't know the strategies though. They have the content within themselves. Like some people are very knowledgeable, but they don't have the sort of strategy you need in order for you to start something and scale it, because many people have content nowadays, but to make you stand out in a plethora of options that people have, because literally people have 5-second attention spans. How are you going to create a message that will capture their attention and yes, keep them hooked to it, because not everyone cares about you the way you think you're so important. So it's literally about finding, if you are doing something that has value behind it, eventually the people that are necessary for that to continue will come. So for me, when I started off this year, I did my first event at Karen Country Club. My faith is what made that event happen, as well as people seeing my vision, seeing my passion, and then also seeing it. This guy is promising. There's something he's carrying that I want to be a part of. Immediately now, people will start helping. Things will start, partners start coming out. So now, if you know you're carrying something of value, the right people will find you. But if you're not carrying something of value, however, now that's when things may be seeming to be
a little bit off. But I might add, you had support of your mom and your sister.
100%.
1,000%. Your fam and some of your close friends,
But you think there's support from everyone, but it's not really like that. Not everyone wants to support you like that. That's something I really understood from that time till now. Is you can't really rely on everyone close to you to make things happen,
or to believe in you, rather.
You can't. To make things happen, it has to be you.
But sometimes it's important to let your environs know that this is what I'm all about, and I want it to happen.
That's the key of ask and you shall receive. You can't receive if you don't ask. So for me, I do put things out there. I put things out there strategically so that whoever is led to help will do it. But it comes to begging, I've stopped doing those things. You know, when you're on the...
they can't to do that.
Because when you're on the path of growing and trying to build, let's say, your personal brand or your own business as well, you sort of now ask people around you, yo, please push this. But some people don't. Some people don't want to see you win. That's the harsh reality that you sort of have to face. Is some people don't really want to see you do better than they are doing. Because when you start having a vision, you start becoming a threat to certain people that are living in a boundary or in a box they've created for themselves. Because now they start projecting their own limitations on you, starting to put you down. Because again, you can't just go to everyone close to you for certain things that you want to do. Because not everyone has your best interest at heart.
At heart, absolutely.
You know, that's wisdom many people need to understand. You don't need to talk too much when you're doing something, especially
even
if it's
with
something
fam,
of value.
Even with fam, you might think, oh man, I got a cousin who's a big fan of me, but maybe deep down they're like behind closed doors,
Exactly.
So and it's human nature, literally. It's not like it's one of the wicked of the wickedest, for lack of a better word, But then now, when you start something, bruv, and you have to make progress, At least if you're starting a podcast, you best believe are trusting for progress. You're trusting for feedback. You're trusting for growth. You're trusting for impact, So for a person who's begun something and maybe it's not showing any signs of progress, how do you how do you trust yourself enough to stay in the process and continue pushing and weathering through the storm? Because like you've said, any dream that has ever been fulfilled and accomplished out there that's big, it had its own trying and testing times. There's always storms in every journey. Every journey of success has storms. There's the ups and downs. But then there's also give up halfway in between or a quarter way through the journey, and then some just when they're just about close to the finish line, they throw in a white towel. So if you're not seeing the progress or feeling it, because also sometimes you can feel you're making progress in as much as outside to the normal eye, people might not recognize it here. So how do you stay and trust and learn to be in the process till you hit the finish line successfully?
You sort of have to go back to the drawing board if you don't see progress, because it's very important to make sure you don't rush your preparation stage, because the preparation stage is very crucial in scaling and being someone who is of constant relevance and you've built longevity. Like someone, for example, a professional footballer or a professional athlete, most of the times that they are starting off in their journey, they will need to have constantly been training, have constantly been putting in the work that they know they need to be able to perform at a specific level. You can't just go from amateur to pro overnight. So everything in life has its journeys. Everything in life has its preparation before the appointment. And so, there's even a psalm I'm reminded of. though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. It's a guarantee you'll walk through a valley of that is scary. Death, meaning you don't see life. But then the Bible says God is with you. I'll fear no evil. So one of the things you always have to have is you have to be so strong-willed about who you are, strong-willed about what you know. If you know you're supposed to do something, you need to be very strong-willed about it, because any moment you start wavering, doubting, again, I have a chapter in the book called Facing Doubt, because it stemmed from James. I think James 1 talks about, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask God. Again, that's something that if you don't know what you're supposed to do, God has solutions. But then it gives conditions to your asking. It says, let him ask in faith, not doubting at all. Because if any man is doubting that the Lord is someone that is real, that person should not think he should receive anything from God. So the law of faith needs to be in application in anyone's life, that when you do conceive the vision, the dream, and you start implementing it, or rather you start your preparation phase, you have to be very patient with the seasons of life. Because if you're expecting to go viral from your first video that you put online, you know, you're up for a rude awakening, as we both of us create content on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, and we're aware that that's rare for it to happen. However, now if you've built yourself over a period of time, for example, if someone like I've just seen Cristiano Ronaldo started a YouTube channel because he's built his brand so well.
Yeah, and it became syndicated the same day.
Exactly, because he's done such a long journey. He's built himself over so many years. The first time he starts a YouTube channel, millions of views. However, when you're not...
And subscribers.
Yeah, millions of subscribers as well. When you're not like Ronaldo, not everyone is like that, you know, you need to seriously build the value that you carry, because value is the most important.
But you've raised yes, absolutely, I agree with you. You've raised an important point. In a world of billions of people, why is it people are not recognizing me, and yet I'm doing something so amazing? And in fact, what I'm doing is impacting people directly. Why am I not getting, you know, the massive feedback, you know, the traction, the clicks and everything? But yet what I'm doing right now should even be on a TED Talk platform being used as an explanation to teach other people how to be and how to do. What makes it feel that way sometimes?
It's in due time. Literally, it's all about timing, because sometimes you may think you're ready for the next level of your life. You're ready to have 10 billion people watch your video, but you're not really ready for that.
But in that moment, you're feeling like I should be having at least 100 million here.
Yeah, 100%. You know, sometimes I've had to do this. I've had to be very humble to understand some of the things I'm passionately talking about. Not everyone is passionate about as well. So it's also maybe understanding what people want to hear. Sometimes that's where you have to really think about it. What is it that people need? What are you solving that they don't have an answer to? So in your content creation or whatever you're doing, if you feel like what you're doing is so amazing, the whole world needs to hear it, and no one is hearing it, it's maybe because that's not what the world needs to hear at that current moment in time. Because nowadays, if you go and talk about, for example, you talk about, let's say, the femicide situation on TikTok, many people will listen, because that's something that is a current problem in today's society. If you talk about politics, the US election, and you have reasonable facts and statistics, and you've done your research on what's going on globally, many people will listen. So it's about, what are you talking about that is something that the world needs to hear. So that's sort of something you need to also be able to balance with your creation. Yes, talk about the things you love 100%, stay true to you. Authenticity is the biggest way to stand out. Then also link your authenticity to the relevant things that are going on in today's world. So that's kind of something that a lot of people need to apply generally.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, finally, after you started something, of course, you are expecting feedback. Now you pointed out how it feels to actually go on that trajectory. But then now I'll say, when you start hitting a dead end, or now you've just set yourself on the runway, you're almost taking off to reach the finish line, and then you start feeling like, you know what, I'm hitting a dead end, I'm not feeling it anymore. Now you start doubting yourself. But then you started with a lot of gusto at first. There was a lot of inspiration. In fact, you quoted the Bible, you prayed, you consulted your mentors and everything. But then somewhere in between, you're feeling like, you know what, I don't feel it anymore. And then you end up quitting. Only maybe if you'd have just persevered, maybe for just a short amount of time, you are close to the finish line. So what do you think if you were to point out to, say, young people that give up, maybe just in the nick of time, and maybe it has not been revealed to them, but I love it the way you bring in the aspect of spirituality, which shows your walk and you're aware of your spiritual self, yeah? For a person who's just plainly walking through life normally, you know, gideri style, like the way we say it. How do they stay in the course and not get off the hook?
It's very important to have accountability around you and a good support system. You have to sort of build that. If you don't have that, it's even in a Bible, a little Bible verse that says, "Sorry to the man who doesn't have one person in his corner who he can cry to in the days of troubles." So it's very important to build that, even if it's one person. Build a relationship. People are one of the biggest blessings that God will give you in your life, because I do believe when God wants to bless you, he will send someone to your life. And so if you don't have people around you that are able to pray for you when you don't have any strength to pray, or push you when you don't have any strength left, you will definitely fall off. Like you said, if you just persevere, that sort of last push effort sometimes doesn't come from you. Like if you think of anyone who does long runs, has done a half marathon or a full marathon, most of the time when you're training for a marathon, you don't do the full 42 kilometers. You usually train maybe 38, 37, 36, depending on that. And then the last kilometers is all strong, it's all in the mind. It's all about now pushing to something in your mind. You have to sort of capture someone you love and keep that in your mind till the end, because that is what professional runners do.
Yeah, but that means it's mastery now.
Yeah, now it's mindset, which I know a lot of Kenyans struggle with, having a strong mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that I have identified, is even when it comes to talking about certain topics on TikTok. Like I talked about I don't know if you saw this, I talked about the importance of fatherhood in a person's
absolutely. I saw
role.
it and I think I reacted.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I got messages in my DMs telling me, you're so ignorant, you're so privileged, you know, you're talking from a closed-minded perspective. I even want to ask you that question. What do you sort of think of that?
Yeah, I think it's very important to have father figures, and learning from your situation. I think you've detailed it also in your book, where I think in the podcast, there's an excerpt where you say, I think you are in your family setup, you and your mom, in the podcast, where I think you try to playfully bring it out, and I was like, yeah, I think it's very imperative for young men to come from homes where there's present and active father figures, but then it also contributes a lot to shaping some facets of you as a man, because I believe as a man you also need other men who've done life to give you modeling, rather, or help you to also look at it as a moral compass to chart your path. So 100%. I think it's very imperative, but that's a deep question.
It's a deep one, because people think when I was speaking out of a place of privilege, that I'm better than everyone else. And that's far from it. Me, I myself didn't have a solid father figure growing up. And, and I'm so open about it. Then, you know, I sort of understand that when you're in a place of desperation, you know, you may think you don't have choices. You may think you don't have any solutions, but you actually do. Right. If you're people who are in extreme places of poverty, there's certain things that they think they don't have access to. There's certain things that they think they can't do. However, it's all about the mind. It's all about a mindset shift. So, but if you have certain principles instilled in you by your father figure from early, like I said, the principles and fundamentals of love and respect, if you have those fundamentals rooted in you from an early age, and you've seen what true love from a father figure is like, feels like, you will know that even if you've hit rock bottom, there's certain things you can't do. There's certain things you won't do as a person because of the values that have been instilled in you. So yes, when troubles hit you, of course you may think like, yeah, I'm cooked. I have no situation. There's no light coming out of the tunnel. I am completely in the dark. However, there's always an option. There's always something that if you are looking for it, like I said, sometimes necessity is the mother of invention. Because when you're in a serious situation where you need to do something, for example, someone has a gun to your head and they're saying, I will shoot you if you don't raise $10,000 in the next 7 days. Brother, you'll find everything in you to make that money come. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is, when you have that necessity, it's your life on the line, you will find ways that maybe, you know, not those ways for immoral ways of getting that money is not something that you do, but you genuinely, based on the necessity of your life being on the line, you'd
Yeah.
find a way to make that money the right way.
Yes.
You know? So
Right.
yeah, that's
Interesting.
my perspective.
Wow, amazing. I want us to talk about failure because a lot of people, even personally, me too, I'm still afraid of failing. But I think maybe as time goes by, I'm becoming invincible day by day. I'm not afraid of failing, yeah, because I've had some miserable fallouts in the past as well, you know. But generally, on the outlook, people treat failure with absolute contempt. But from success stories, even from the greatest CEOs, the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos, the Jack Dorsey's who formerly started, you know, Twitter, that's now X, they have, you know, experiences and stories of where they started and then it never worked out. So how do you, I'd say, treat failure? Or maybe let's say, how do you interpret failure? Because there's also the shame that comes with, oh my goodness, I started it and it didn't work. How will people react to me? You know, I invested in a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of myself, but then I'm not seeing any fruits. And literally there's nothing out of it. You lost that money. That project is a total fail. How do you, say, process failure in terms of now even career as well? For example, now for you, because when you, in your book as well, when you're saying when you got to States, things were a little bit different. Even when you're here, I was reading in your book, there's a place where you detailed, I think it's just in the first chapter, where you're saying when you figured in States, your degree, was it your degree or the certificate that you studied right here in Kenya, was not applying to universities or learning institutions instead. So you had to go through some sort of training first. And that made you feel some type of way. But then if you squint closely and look at it in a human nature, that can de-inspire you. It's not inspiring, it takes and rips off of you. So how do you de-channel now and start feeling inspired? Because that already makes you feel like you failed. You know, if you don't have the right, I'd say, the right support, for lack of a better idea.
I think you have to see failure as lessons. That's the perspective I've learned to acquire, is the term failure should not even be failure in your journey as someone who is, let's say, an entrepreneur or someone who is a leader in whatever capacity you're doing. Just switch the definition of failure and turn it into a lesson. Because failure is one of the best teachers out there. Because when you do realize, even the Bible verse says, the righteous falls 7 times but gets back up. The number 7 is falling into perfection. So most of the times, you're not perfected unless you're falling into that perfection. So for me, in the journey in the States, when I was coming through so many disappointments and hiccups, I'm just like, you can easily get frustrated, of course. But again, you have to always remember you have the power of choosing to respond to situations. Because you can react and you can respond. Reacting and responding are 2 different things. Because when you react to a situation, your emotions are the ones leading the situation. However, when you respond, you're the one in charge of leading your emotions. So that shift in mind is what changes you from being someone who is a victim to someone who is actually leading their life. So again, that goes back to the mentality of escaping a victim mentality.
Right.
Because when you do realize that when you're failing, if you're confident and you're self-aware, you're self-aware and your assurance doesn't come from anything else except an internal secure validation, you realize when you're failing, it's not an expression or it's not a revelation of your incapacity to handle certain things, but it's a revelation of the things you need to shift inside of you or shift externally for you to be able to now implement in a way that you can actually know what strategies that will lead you to success. So that's the difference, is shifting that perspective on how you see things from reacting to responding.
But then for a person who's still stuck, because I also believe feeling stuck is a thing, especially for, I'd say, people who operate, what is the word I can use? What is the right word? Let's say for people who are always enthusiastic, if you are a fully enthused person, and let's say you're always the person who is always giving, you know, energy to others, or the person who is always inspiring others. Sometimes you need to be filled because you can't pour from an empty cup, But then there's those days you feel like, you know, you've hit, I don't know if dead end is the right word, but then you feel like there's a certain block. Even for creatives, there's days you experience a creative block. You don't feel like creating anymore, and you have to reset, recalculate, and just, you know, refill. And then when you're fully equipped, you can now come and unleash, you know, the inspiration. Yeah. So for a person who is feeling stuck, they've tried, maybe they're on the path, they're almost at their prime. Yeah. But then yes, you're there, you're in the path, you're doing it, but then you just feel like you're not making progress. But yet you are doing it anyways. Yeah. But you're not making progress.
Yeah.
And that is a feeling literally of like feeling stuck. And I believe maybe it can be mental and sometimes physical as well, because your body also reacts to how you feel externally. Yeah.
Like you said, you just need to reset, and reset is one of the ways that is many times people don't implement, and even me sometimes I fall short of this. But I'm always inspired by the life of Jesus. Jesus always used to take time and separate himself from people and spend time with himself. And that is one of the ways he used to recharge himself from speaking in front of multitudes a day. People, you know, coming to him, asking him for help, healing people, saving people. So that can drain you physically, and not just physically, also spiritually. It can deplete you. But he also implemented the strategy of separating yourself. So anyone who is on that journey of constantly being someone who empties their cup, you need to find ways to express yourself so that you can refill yourself. Because when you find expression, now you give yourself ways to really position yourself to receive an infilling of a new grace or a new fresh perspective that will really change the course of feeling stuck. Because again, feeling stagnant is one of the sort of the worst things to feel, because when you lose momentum, it's really hard to pick it up again. However, that's the importance of resting. Just resting your mind, detoxing your mind, decluttering your mind. That's me. My mom, she raised me with journaling. So I journal literally. If I don't journal, I can lose my mind, because I have to find ways to express the thoughts that are in my heart and my spirit on something. Because you know, as a man, you don't really want to talk to everyone all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to open up the deep things in your heart to someone who may not even understand, someone who criticize you, someone who will judge you, who perceive you a certain type of way. So if you don't have that expression, some people, it may be through arts, it may be through combat, fighting. You know, you can find ways to do training, martial arts, boxing, fitness, whatever it is. You have to find that way to kind of detox, declutter, and reset yourself. So those are the things that, as you said, are very necessary for you to escape that feeling of being stagnant.
Yeah. Now, how does it start to feel like what I'm doing has purpose? Or maybe let's just say, how does purpose feel like? Because I believe that's where maybe if you've hacked how it feels or how it looks like to be living in a purpose-filled life and doing everything purposefully, I believe that's when you're radiating a lot of good energy, for lack of a better word. You're radiating a lot of positive feedback and impact now. And it's now almost legacy kind of impact. You're changing people's lives. So maybe if you can just paint for us a short panoramic view before we get to a little excerpt in your book as we exit in a bit.
Oh man, it's the most fulfilling feeling when you have when you truly see the impact of your purpose. For me, just even the sort of events I just did. I did an event this last month, and it was called the Awareness Shift. We were talking about overcoming addictions, and I had panelists such as Robert Burale, who was on the panel. He is a very good mentor to me. So there's compliments and feedback we got that man, I wish everyone in this world could sort of experience that feeling of seeing. You know, for me, influence is being able to transform someone's mind. Influence is not how many followers you have, or how many people know your name, or you know, the accolades you have in your career. Influence is being able to be like, someone can say, yo, Brian, Sakwa, man, you really changed my perspective concerning this. I think differently now because of what you said. That feeling, it's unmatched. It's unmatched.
An aha.
Yeah, because many successful people talk about you've received everything you want in life.
All the Grammys, all the
every single thing you've achieved.
All the Oscars, but
exactly.
Still, you know.
But then now, from that feeling, you sort of leave desensitized. You're no longer like satisfied by anything.
You've
not
seen
it, the cars, the women, the money. There's no more excitement. Exactly. You're so numb and desensitized to that that most of them end up taking their lives. And that's a harsh reality that successful people don't even want to talk about, because now people who are struggling will be like, who is this guy? Why does he think he has problems? Like, this guy has
everything but yet you're complaining of mental health issues. You know?
Exactly. But many people don't understand that's the power of purpose. So when you
Right.
have now something you're doing that fulfills that feeling that every human craves, yeah,
Right.
I pray that everyone experiences that feeling.
Wow, interesting. In your book, I believe this should be on, let me just get to it, and yeah, page 28 of it. You're giving the 4 practical keys that can be used to unlock the next level of awareness in your pursuit of mastery, in your journey. And I want you to shortly, in maybe like a minute and a half, because you're just about to exit, talking about stillness. How can stillness, help you to, say, transcend?
There's a verse that says, be still, do not sin and be angry, but be still on your bed, Selah. So for me, stillness is one of the most effective ways of me receiving from my eternal treasures. That's what unlocking the eternal treasures within means.
Right.
Is being able to be still, where you physically are no longer, or you're consciously no longer aware of your physical surroundings, but everything sort of now shifts to the internal realm within you. And again, if you're someone who doesn't understand that there's a world within you, I generally can't help you. And what we're talking about is just, it won't click. But when you realize that there's a whole world within you that you have to take care of, and the internal world shapes your external reality and your viewpoint, you sort of now see the importance of being still and see the importance of practicing something such as stillness. It sounds mystical, it sounds like a mystic practice. However, it's such a simple thing, and it's such a powerful thing, and
to tap into.
That's something many people need to really practice.
Right. The second one is recognition of thought in present moment. The now, the importance of recognizing the power of now, here and now.
It's powerful because many people practice gratitude, but when they're doing their gratitude, daily gratitude, whatever, they're not necessarily actually feeling the feelings of being grateful. So they're not really in the present moment of what they're saying. And so for me, I think the recognition of thought in the present moment is recognizing and identifying that as we're speaking here, I have the beautiful access to have such an enlightening conversation with you. And that's something I can be grateful for in the present moment. That's something now, when we're talking, a lot of people are not even fully listening to us. They'll be listening on their phone. They're not fully in the present moment, or they'll be listening while doing so many other things. So now they're juggling their mind and they're waiting for the next big thing, the next exciting thing to happen.
Right.
And instead of actually just focusing on the present moment. And there's power in being present.
Absolutely. I like that. Now, lastly, because you can't go through both of them, I think the first 3 are just super powerful. Intentionality through inquiries, lastly.
That is one of the ways when you're in the place of being still, if you want to really find out a solution or solve a problem, you sort of have to be very intentional with what answer you're seeking for, and understanding your why. So being intentional through your inquiries is when you're seeking that place, when you're in that place of stillness, you're seeking the answer out of a place of purity. You're not seeking it out of a place of self-gain or pride. You're doing it to actually solve a problem, and that actually causes the problem to come to you, the answer to the problem to come to you a lot more faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Bro, I love your insights. I feel like we should be on a podcast very soon. We have to go. We've been speaking for an hour. I want you to tell people how they can purchase your book. I've read it. I and Stephanie, we've read it. But you can tell them how they can purchase and get to unlock their path to success. Bookstores, any outlet, social media as well, very fast.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram _MuliJR. You can find the book on the Nuria The Honest store, which is in town. It costs $1,500. If you don't want to go to town, just DM me on Instagram and we can send you the book as soon as possible, as you let us know your delivery location. But yes, find me on Instagram, YouTube, same thing, TikTok, Muli Jr.
Yeah, and you recently launched a podcast with your fam, your sister, your mom, and maybe chipping in a lot of people. How can people get to listen?
Yeah, find us on YouTube, MuliJR again, MULIJR, and from there you can find out all the videos we've done and all the podcasts we shoot.
Absolutely. So, thank you so much, bruv.
Thank you for having me, bro.
We can talk endlessly the whole day.
Yes, you can.
Me and you. Yeah, but I appreciate you. Once again, you're welcome back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie said hi.
Tell us a day.
All right, thank you so much. We've been speaking to Muli and Muindi. He's the author of this book, The Narrow Path. It's a very insightful book, a 92-page read. Trust me, within 2 days, you would have changed and transformed everything. He's also a podcaster now with Motaji as well. Hopefully it goes on well for you.
Thank you.
An entrepreneur as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming through. And also say thank you. So we're going to do this. We're going to take a very short break because the next conversation is up and I can see the next guests are already in studio. So see you in just a bit on the other side, right here.
Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1 dakika 5 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, tunatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kendrelby.
Wagwang, my name is DJ Kuch pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. You can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalandu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi. Wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Chemi za uongo, stories za jaba ndo tingize ubongo, ndo bebe kawaletikiza kamongo.
What's up, everybody? Have you heard of Bounce Nation? We are the latest, most stand-up show in 254.
You know how we do each and every Tuesday, Thursday. Mad vibes, mad music. When you see this face, amazing vibes, pure niceness, mad music. Now always kumbuka wewe ndoko in full control.
I'm unavailable, they know they see me.
I go by the name Feeling Jean.
And I am the beat doctor DJ Epic, straight out of Gas Chamber DJs. You know how we do.
Of course, catch us every single Tuesday and Thursday from 4 p.m. all the way to 7 p.m. for mad energy, good vibes, and interviews and interactions with your favorite celebrities.
Our stories shape our future. It's within them that we get to know ourselves.
God always came through in a way that we couldn't even explain. And we came to realize that putting God at the center of it is like everything else will just flow.
What do you do when push comes to shove?
He was a great man. At that moment, he was supportive. Until 6 months, we went for the first surgery.
That's why here on The Nest, we tell you these stories to empower you and shape your parenting. Every Tuesday from 7:30 p.m. only on Y254.
Shining in the setting sun like a pearl upon the ocean. Come and feel me, oh feel me.
कुछ कुछ होता है क्या करूँ हाय
पी लूं है पीने का मौसम तेरे संग इश्क तारी है कसोंगो ये
This week on The Buzz, we let you in on how the CISO runway fashion show went down. Our little secret is the perfect rom-com for you and your boo.
This is for you. Look, it's a skirt top. Fast and easy. Here we go.
We will highlight the life story of Mike Tyson.
It's all I ever lived for. It's all I ever lived for.
Sarah Kabu has been the talk of town. Find out who the mystery woman on her viral video is. We have plenty of entertainment for you, so be sure to tune in on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with me, Eve Nyaga, so that I dish out all the tea.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports, drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Here on Power Talk Show, we handle conversations of current affairs that directly affect you. We do a deep dive on conversations that involve relationships, mental health, finances, and other trending issues. We also share stories of people who have faced adversaries and managed to overcome them.
I'm a person who tried committing suicide 3 times. Yes, before I reached class 7.
Tune in to Power Talk each and every Thursday at 7:10 p.m. and join in the conversation with me, Cheryl Blessing, using the hashtag PowerTalk.
Y254. Imagine.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando.
Komando, wambie sisi ndo vipenzi komando. Inakuwaje? Ni kila Jumatatu kutokea saa 1:05 hadi 3:30. Ndio unafahamu sisi ni makomando wa Afrika Mashariki ambao tunakupa kipindi chenye mapozi, unatazama na mapozi ya kwako. Wanasema kwamba you can call me Kenny at Kenrelby.
Wagwang, my name is DJ Kuch. Pale kwenye chiki na kupatia mziki zote za East Africa, old school, new school, zote ziko ndani. We can link up at DJ Kuch. Boom.
And of course with me, Kalondu Musimi, I'll be giving you all the entertaining stories in East Africa. Nitakuwa nikuambia nani amefanya nini, kwa nini na akiwa na nani.
Hatuagizi na mabosi, sisi wenyewe mabosi. Wanatobea mikosi, tunalindwa na sagodi pekee.
Y254. Imagine.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much for staying with us and welcome back. My good name is still Brian Sakwa at Y254 channel. We've asked you an interesting question and I'll get to the feedback in just a bit. We are just, jet setting ourselves to slide into the holidays swiftly, but then it's also about sharing love, not only just with the person you love romantically, but with your family. So the question is about holiday love languages, and the question is, je, unajiprepare aje kushare love na your loved ones hii msimu wa December? Are you ready to get down? We are ready with my panel. Let me just get to the feedback in a little bit, and then I'm going to get to introduce them in just a bit. Mengich KE anasema good morning, watching from Marigat. Good morning to you. #wa in the morning. Mzee Mayai na Smokies Maralal, good morning. Mzee Mayai na Smokies, watching live from Maralal town in 3D. Thank you, we appreciate you. Morris Jacob Makoha anasema watching from Namushia Kabras, tunapanga jinsi tunakutana mahali tusherekee kwa Mungu kutuwezesha kufika hii wakati. Yes, absolutely. I love that, That's also sharing love, literally. And I think I'd also love to hear what my guests will say. As usual, watching live from Thika, that is Dorcas Mash. Shinyabi Hilary KE watching live from Kakamega Kolomani. Dan Mukurima wa Kiandutu, good morning to you. Dan Triza Noni anasema good morning. Riabai tuko present. Charles Kafu watching from Karatina. Brenda Navalayo watching from Kitale aka Alekobo's show equal lit with lit emojis. Thank you so much, Brenda. Alex Kasina anasema watching from Kariara Ithanga in Muranga. Okay, shout out to Muranga. And last but not least, Dustin Blair anasema vile itakam to. Okay, I think I like that. Also, going in freestyle and just testing the waters and see how it goes. It's incredible, but ensure at least you share, something. But sometimes we're in the spirit of meeting together, exchanging. There's usually this, interesting bonds that come up, especially with cousins. But then there's also that question that they ask, umepata mtu, hujapata. But anyways, we'll find out from our guests in just a bit. And I'm being joined live in studio. Next to me is Nick Ayora. He's a linguist. I think he's been here before. He's back again alongside Bobo Cheng. He's a blogger. Karibuni sana. I love that both of you are from the same, Lang institution, yeah? Let me start off with you, Bob, since you are new to the table. Yeah. When it comes to the holidays, what is that one thing that keeps on, cropping up, that's common, that you've literally noticed since we slid into December? Today is the 9th day, yeah. What is that one thing that keeps on cropping up for you?
Okay, whether naming holiday, holidays, this time people always come together. You see, if we're approaching holiday like this festive season, you will see most of the people traveling from one place to another, either traveling to go and unite with families or with friends or loved ones. Yes.
So you've seen a lot of people travel, but for you, are you intending to travel? But I know you guys are still in school, and it probably closing dates could be between 20th, 21st, there, even 22nd to some, depending on the course and the examination due date, right?
Yes.
So you're traveling to also, you're planning rather to travel?
Yes, I'm planning to travel back home.
To Dala?
Yes, Dala.
Okay, absolutely. What about you, Nick? What has been that one thing that keeps cropping up commonly since we began December?
For me, I can say that when we are entering December holidays, I see like eating nyama choma throughout. And for me, for this year, holiday has not become a big thing for me.
Why?
I'm not interested.
Why
so
is that? Why the zero interest?
Because of the situation in Kenya and a lot of things. Also, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Oh, okay.
So
I see the grief. I see the grief.
But
okay.
I'll travel. I'll look for a destination and go enjoy my vacation.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, the vacation manenos. I think I like that, because also there's a certain just, a certain effervescence, a certain air to, when December comes. It comes also with a little bit of anxiety if you're not ready, especially if you don't have the money to spend, and especially if you are a person who has a lot of responsibilities. But then in your responsibilities, it can go as far as, being accountable to your family. I've just mentioned to you those especially aunties and even grandmas as well. They'll be asking, sasa ako wapi mtu wako wa Nairobi, my son, or my daughter, so later, But it's in good spirits, yeah? In spirits of, love, you know, because they want well for you. But then just that unity and reunion with your family, it's an incredible bond. I don't know what you think about the same.
Yeah, for me, reuniting with my family is very good. I feel like meeting new cousins who I've never seen for a while, then doing game like team building. It's enjoyable uniting, but so Apple, when they ask, where is your person, we draw the lines. Because I'm not of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hapo ushafunga hiyo conversation. I'm still children, in short.
I'm children.
Yeah. But Bob, it's very important, by the way, to reunite with your family. But there's those people who've gone through issues and they've separated. Would you advocate them maybe for them to just find a way of just rudi tu, hata kama it's the worst that you did, if it's a mistake, maybe unaweza samehewa this Christmas, because it's celebration, it's about celebrating. Not, remember, it's Christ the reason for the season. I'm sure that will come up at some point wakati tunaenda hapo Christmas, then we keep it Christ the reason for the season. So I'm sure you can be forgiven maybe if you did a mistake and maybe they had hold you hostage for it. In the name of just, you know, love, reuniting as family. Don't you think, you know, it's also time, if you had done something, it's time for them to let it go, or kwache tu, and then, because we're any familiar anyways, you are ours, right? Yeah.
Okay, according to my perspective, you see, in human there is mistakes. You get it that somebody may backslide, but then another mistake is not going for forgiveness. You know, in family is everything. Of course, in life, family is the strength of everything. You get it that if you go back to your family is home. East or west, we know home is the best.
Absolutely.
At home, you can get that refuge. You can get, and somebody may console you. Maybe if you explain your situation or rather the mistake that you did, and then they may think to forgive you, something like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, I agree with you and I see it. There's a way that maybe if they usually say if you're rejected by the world, then home is where you be accepted, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but then there's those homes that are really toxic. We've seen stories of people running away from home. Maybe the mother was not as tolerant and the dad was, you know, kind of abusive. But anyways, it happens and it's life. But then now when it comes to expressing how you love and how, you know, you share these mutual bonds of, you know, family connections, for you, how would you express it as a young Gen Z who's going back home after school? Okay,
You know, back home, when we are here at school, if you go back home, of course you want to be felt that you are back. Them feeling you have to come up with something new, or rather you can offer them something which they were not used to. You see, when you go home, there are a lot of things you can do. Or rather, you can come with something from, you know, we are at the city. When we go back home, they expect a lot from you. Yes, one, you can go with gifts, like something to just surprise your family back at home. You know, when you go back at home, you should also be helping them. You see, you can help in chores, things like that, or some works. You know, they're back at our home in Nyanza. We go to the farm. You can go there. This time is a harvesting season. You can at least help by harvesting. Yes. At least by that, they can feel you. They can see that, honestly, this guy.
Alinga. What about you, Nick? How do you express love to your loved ones, especially during this festive season?
Yeah, as Boba said, when we are in the city, when you go back to our country, or when you go to some places, there are people who don't know to play certain games. You can introduce like cards, the Jenga stuff. You play together, or you take gifts like notebook. For your smaller brothers, you can take jerseys and you share time with them. Also, you can teach them new skills that they can learn. Like if you're good in cooking, you can show them a new recipe. And also those who are going to vacation, you can tour, you can make good videos about good places and share them online. That's also a way of sharing love.
Yeah, siku share with the intention of giving people pressure,
No, that's
but with the
sharing.
intention of
Yeah, there's a place.
inspiringly
Yeah.
informing them that, you know what, this destination is really,
Yeah.
you know, divine. I loved it.
It's
Look,
like plugging.
look how I enjoyed it. Do you mind also being here next time, or can you plug in? We go together. I think I love that spirit. Yeah, but it's interesting. Both of you have mentioned gifts, because also when it comes to gifting, I'm sure you have to be very intentional and specific on what you're gifting, who and who, especially if you're returning from the city, like you said, we are in the city anyways. So for example, if you're gifting your aunt, or maybe let's say that cousin who's been in Ushago, even that house help, even that herds boy. I don't know mbona watu wapendi kugift watu wanachunga ng'ombe ya. Mbashie kitu bana, hata kama ni boksa mpelekea, I'm pretty sure he will celebrate it if it's coming from you in Nairobi, bruv. So if you were to specifically choose gifts that you were to take to these people, which one do you prefer to? And maybe what gift exactly would you choose?
Yeah, so I'll put in categories, like first, like your parents, you can give them with notebooks.
Right.
Yeah, so the shamba boy, the house helps, you can take for them like good watches or t-shirts, or some bracelets, those Kenya bracelets. Yeah, they'll appreciate.
Yeah. What about shosho? Because you know, shoshos play a big role, especially during this festive season. They're there to bless. They're there to take stock of. Sasa hujapata mtu baba, you know, they'll say that. Or babu, sasa daddy hujapata mtu mami, you know. They're there to just, you know, and also they bless, you know, they advise, they hold. They're the matriarch of the family, literally. What gift do you take to a shosho?
For grandmothers is always leso. And blankets,
Right, the kikois, they really
kikoi,
appreciate that.
Yeah, they'll be happy.
What do you think of the Sam?
Okay, you see, going back home, for your comeback to be felt, I'll say maybe to my mother, you know, if you take him something like shopping, a small budget, maybe kitchen stuffs and food stuffs, see, she'll be really happy. And then back to my father. My father is a church elder. So you see, a church elder with the tie is always there's always one thing. You see, a coat or a tie, that one I am sure will really make him happy. If you go to my cousins, people like that, first, I'm a Manchester United fan, and I'm happy that almost everybody around me is also a fan.
Manchester, and you guys, and you're winning.
Yeah, Manchester United fan who has already been character developed.
It's the greatest team.
Okay.
We've accepted our situation. So you see, I have two brothers. If I bring them those jerseys also, they will be really happy.
Right.
They will feel that our big brother has them.
Like he has our interests, and he cares and he loves us. And I think it's an important thing, because for people that maybe don't come from families where they're recognized or heard, it brings a good vibe, you know. And especially now during this festive season, it shows, mtoto wetu bana unatupenda, in as much as it's a jersey that maybe you even picked at Gikosh that costed you maybe even 200 bob or even 150. But it means something.
It means a lot.
It means something, yeah. But now the spirit of Christmas as well comes with a lot of pressure, you know, overspending, unnecessary, I'd say not so, helpful decisions of overindulgence, yeah. There's always get crashing at a wedding, I've witnessed a lot of graduations from end and mid of November to now, just December. But a lot that are also bound to happen from now till end of the year. So there's the likelihood of you just being invited, if you're a person that goes out or is outgoing, to attend events that you're not supposed to. And then you end up, you know, drinking and overindulging and overeating, you know, and overspending. But then all those things as well contribute to making you during this holiday season. And then when you come up in January, in fact, I think it was last week with my panelists exactly in this segment who were saying, you know what, if you're not budgeting for your 2025, they usually call it 45 days of January. Yeah. There's that likelihood of you overspending. So how do you caution yourself as well and your loved ones from overindulgence and just going off the grain to do unnecessary?
So yeah, I say it's also better because this is the time of the year you'll be invited in end year parties, in graduation parties, but overspending, as an economist, I can say you need also a budget.
Yeah.
A strict budget, but they always say unaweza save ufikishe mita udedi, nani atakula?
But there is that
also
thing,
make
yeah?
yourself happy because
Yeah.
money comes and goes.
Balance it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, next year tujui. So
But then anyways, just serve, because there's always rainy days. Sindobo,
Yes.
there's always days when you need money and then you don't have. A situation crops up and you need help, but then you can't find it immediately until you have to suffer kidogo, but eventually you'll get. What do you think of the same, especially? But then there's also pushy family, friends, and members and cousins. And when and then you have to dig in deeper and do it, but then it's costing you either way.
Okay, you know, somebody expecting something from you is not wrong.
Yeah.
But according to me, my principle is that I live by my means.
Uh-huh.
If I can't, I'll explain. If I can, of course, I have to do it. You know, in every time, you try with all means not to overpressure yourself. You see, with overpressuring yourself, you can end up in many troubles because you want to do something which you cannot do. You are forcing yourself. Unapata umefanya kitu ingine yenye it's not good because you want to please other people.
Right.
Yes. So you just do it on your capability, what you are capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
But
be,
what if
to be
they're
on a safer
pushing
side.
you? They're pushing you. Sema, sasa ni Christmas na hata umekataa. You know, there's always those sentences and those statements.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is also there. They must be pushing because they expect much from you. But
Yeah.
then
that means you're also
yes.
capable, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they're expecting much.
Yes.
And maybe
yes.
maybe yourself you don't see it like that, but then they see you as wewe sasa uko UN bana. Sasa umerudi Nairobi na umerudi home na hata
toa kitu,
outpay ya
toa kitu.
soda 50. You know, there's always that, especially with the locals within. Yeah.
Okay, that is why when you are going home, you have to prepare better, so that there's some things that you should just avoid. You see that when you're going home, there is a lot of expectation there back at home. Not even at home. Everywhere you go at this festive season, kwa holiday, people really expect much from you. Yes.
Okay. Nick, there's, especially if you're the firstborn in a family who made it to Nairobi. I was speaking to a friend of mine who went through a similar experience, but then they finished school with me. I think it was during our time way back. It's now like 6 years. There was that pressure of you made it to Nairobi and you've just gone for your first semester at the University of Nairobi and now you're back, please, to pay mazuri in your merudi nayo. There's that anticipation and expectation rather from people from the city, especially if you're the firstborn who made it to, you know, a good place or a recognizable even higher learning institution, yeah? So they think since you made it to Nairobi and it's December, please, you're the one. You're the one we should be referring to whenever we need soda, whenever there's a cost that needs to be cleared, yeah? Would you say maybe traditionally that's how it's still till today? Maybe that mindset is fading off as time goes by. But I think also maybe it depends with the family. I think it does. I think it does, yeah.
That mindset is also the cousins and the people back in the village. You know, they think when you come to Nairobi, you find money anywhere.
Yeah.
But they don't know, as comrades we in Ama, we don't take lunch other times, but you have to make them understand. Although I say experience is the best teacher, so I'll assume they'll come and learn for themselves.
Yeah. But now how do you deal with that? Because that's a really heavy part. Yeah. It's really heavy.
So dealing with that, you can get just a little money, although they'll not be satisfied, but you can provide, at least they'll be happy.
Yeah. Because now also like for you guys, I understand you're on HELB, on higher learning funding, yeah? I believe you are, or if not, yes, you can correct me.
It's also a drama.
Yeah. It's another thing as well, and I understand till now they've not released HELB funds for this education year. Yeah. So they'll be like, sasa kwa hiyo HELB yako si utupe kota 10K, you know, tufanye 1, 2, 3. But then they won't even believe it when you tell them you did not receive it. You know, they won't.
Yeah, they will not believe because they see like, yeah, you are getting help. The government has said the money is already released, but you don't have the money. So they don't know you are depending on the parent also.
Yeah. All right. Would you advise maybe someone who, for example, let me use you as an example. the schools have closed up and then you're going back home and you don't have any savings. You know, of course, the help haijareleasiwa, yeah? So you suffered some 1 to 3 deficits in terms of your finances. But then deep down, you know, lazima kuna kitu utafanya. Yeah. So would you advise someone to go off the grain and aombe pesa kwa mabeshte, ama aombe that cousin? Of course, Pierre, this is the season of those aunties and cousins who made it to outside countries, Majuma Yolo, wale wa US, Qatar, UK, Dubai, you know, wanarudi, yeah? Kuna ka pressure fulani pia. And there's always something interesting about their cologne. Sijui mbona watu wa US na UK wanakuangana kama rashi fulani ka expensive, wamekuja tu unasikia hey umse amepita hapa, but then there's that cologne, it's still just, you know, sweet. So would you advise someone to go off the grain, aombe pesa, sema wacha tu niombe hata kama ni 7k ya kutuliza tu familia for this short period, in the name of love, in the name of family, bana, wacha to celebrate Christmas. Christ is the reason for the season, and then January you'll deal with it later, uko mbele.
Okay, 80% I would advise somebody not to go to that that way. This is because, you see, if you do that, that is the beginning of your problems. First of all, you are taking money to please others, not even please, to offer some gifts to others.
Yeah. But it's your family.
Yeah, your family. You are giving, you take money from other person, you're taking with the intention that you will give the money back, right?
Eventually, yes, of course. Any money borrowed must be paid, even in a bank.
Yes. So you see that, of course, maybe they can give you. They can give you, if he's a good friend or rather any other person who you trust can give you. You will give to the family members, but then back, you can. It's a pressure. It's a pressure from both sides. You know that you have to give the family, and then the person who gave you money, you also have to return the money back. So that in some way you are really overpressured. Even if it's a festive season, it's a holiday, you should be resting, but your brain is not at ease. You are like, how am I going to handle this? In the other 20%, yes, I would also advise but only if it's a must. It's really pushing. Yes.
Yeah. Would you advise somebody to go to the extent of going off the grain for your family, bro? I'll ride for my family. It's my ride or die. Yeah.
It's a ride or die, but my principle is always money you borrow should bring you profit. So I don't advise anybody to take any amount of money to buy gift, something which will not bring profit, but go make the family to understand that you don't have money. Yeah. You can't borrow 7,000 for instance, buy gift, then coming January you need to survive also. Where will you get the 7,000 to return, the money also to survive? So I say, if it's not making profit, leave it, make them to understand.
Yeah. But then I'm also looking at it, you just standing up, bare hands. Umekuja tu na bag yako, uko na sample. Umekuja kigangnam style. Mimi nimerudi home bana, na expect, msi expect chochote. Mimi ndo huyu, mimi ni wenu, nimerudi. Sasa, you know, tuangaliane, what next?
But Kenya unaweza sema, nimekuja na story.
Nakwambia tukuli story hii December bana, tunataka chapati, mandazi na kuku, you know.
For those are essential, and I believe parents can provide. Yeah, I think other gift you can tell them, I've come, nimekuja na computer skill, tunaweza fanya, nimekuja na story, but if you don't have money, what will you do? Yeah. Also you can tip them some 50 bob, 500 bob, 200, they'll be fine.
And that means you've tried really hard. You've tried really hard. But then also it's been a tough year. I'm sure if it's a family that's privy or conscious to what's happening in the country, they know the economy has not been really economy for most people. And now even for students as well, because, you know, you're just a child. But then also when you look at it in the Christmas season, there's always a way that mothers have a way of just, you know, shocking you with surprises. Unashangaa tu amechomoa tu pesa out of nowhere. Whenever a guest comes or shows, amechomoa tu a piece of roasted meat, I don't know from where. I think it was common with my grandma. And out of the blues, there's chicken, there's chapati, there's bread, there's soda. But then normally, hizi vitu hazikuwa hata nyinyi hamngezipata, you know. But the moment a guest just chomokas from nowhere, there's these things. Do you find it really interesting as well, the way just, you know, mothers and families just get through these interesting moments of, you know, the holidays?
So what I can say, it always happens with mothers.
Yeah.
Because mothers, you can borrow her money right now. She'll tell you, I don't have even a cent.
Yeah.
But reaching festive season, you'll see her
Around
buying.
20K.
But I believe
Yeah,
it's
like,
also they
yeah.
get the money from chamas. Because
Right,
they
yeah.
also invest in
Because
chamas
they
mostly.
do a lot of small investments,
They're
yeah?
self-help groups. So what I can say, it's like that with the women, they will always keep their money.
Yeah. And for fathers, if a father tells you hana, ni ukweli hana, like it's a dead end, na haezi danganya. But then for moms and grandmas, atakwambia hana, but you know, ameshika bunda la noti, anakwambia shikilia hii ukiendaga, you know. I think I like that. It brings out that, you know, that careness and that tenderness of, you know, family and motherhood, yeah?
Yeah. You see, in every family, I always say that the mother is the family. You see, even at the very moment when you are down, it's your mother will come and comfort you. It's your mother will tell you this and this, my son. My son, just stand and continue going. You see, this issue of our mothers saying that they don't have, but if it comes to some other times, it's not a surprise. Because of course, our mothers they really do a lot to prove that love to the family. Yes.
What about an elder brother? You know, there's those elder brothers as well who go out of the grain. Like, there's a friend of mine I was speaking to. She was telling me that, in fact, everything she's done in campus, she's received massive support from the firstborn elder brother, a lot than even the mother and the father. And not that they don't want to provide, they're just not at a position to. So the firstborn brother had to grow up early and become, you know, she calls it deputy parent, deputy father, and deputy mother. Yeah.
Exactly. The firstborns are always like deputies, the deputy parents. You see, the sisters or the brothers, the firstborns, they always try with all means that their siblings down them have a better life than theirs. If research says that, you see, these firstborns, they're the people who grows in a very difficult time. You get that sometimes the parents were still not even having jobs. He or she went through a lot on her upbringing. So get it that she tries with all means that her siblings don't follow the same way. The best life she can give them, the best life she can offer.
Yeah, so you end up growing up fast. Is any of you a firstborn? Any? Your firstborn?
No.
No. Middle child or second child?
Firstborn to the boys.
Firstborn to all boys?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Secondborn.
Secondborn out of how many?
3.
3. Hey, okay. Middle child. Also, you're a middle child.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So you guys have enjoyed the privilege of security and care and protection and providence here, which is a good thing. But then also as well, when you look at it when tough times come, especially now for a family, like I have a friend of mine who's lost their dad, yeah. They're going through a very, it's deep, and he's a firstborn, in fact, yeah. And in fact, we were to converse at some point, but because we will eventually, yeah. So it's in such a difficult time when people are celebrating, for them they're mourning, and they have to bury their father, who's the head of the family. So it takes away from the equation of celebration, yeah. But eventually, anyways, me too, I lost my dad. Losing someone is normal, yeah. Until you go through it, that's when you can get to understand or see it that way. After some time, anyways. I'm not saying it's normal to everyone, yeah. But that feeling of losing someone who was to care, provide for you, protect you, give you direction, it's a very deep thing. But now, at a holiday time like this, it's a deep one. I don't know, what would you tell someone, or what would be a word to someone who is grieving? And maybe sometimes fathers are usually people that hold the family together, especially if they are the breadwinner, yeah, because they provide protection, they're a sign of leadership, they're the head of the family, literally. So when they're removed from the equation, it's like the family is kind of exposed and vulnerable. I don't know what you would tell to, you know, someone who's gone through such a season. But then on this other side, there's shouts of Merry Christmas, Mary's boy child, Christ is the reason for the season. But then on this other side, they're crying and mourning. So it's happy, sad, you know.
All I can say, I'll give them a word of encouragement. I also speak to the neighbors that they come together, comfort the family, because you can't be celebrating and you have lost one of your village mate or clan member. So come together, make the family feel happy also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Togetherness, I can say that.
Because it's really, I can only imagine, you know. Or maybe just even a day to Christmas and then you lose someone. It can really, it can really dilute the whole situation. It has a huge domino effect on the spirit of the season. Yeah.
That one comes as a tragedy, because you get it that at Christmas time is a time of mirth, time of jubilation. People should be celebrating, but then losing a loved one is also a part of the rites of passage, death, or in fact the last last rite of passage. But then it comes in a very sad way. When it comes at this time of festivity, we should always come together and comfort each other. We bereave with them, at least we can share with them. You know, at this time, this is the time when you can show your love by even helping them to do their things, giving them the gift. Try with all means that they feel that you care for them, that love.
Right.
Yes.
Then, like you've said, it's normal life events and it's a rite of passage. It's just that you just don't know the time when it's going to come.
Actually, the last one.
Yeah, you're never prepared for such an event, yeah? But then now, on the happy note, for those cousins, for me, I think I had an auntie. She's still there. She's loud. She's life of the party. She's all about excitement when it's Christmas. Anataka kila mtu aende out and shopping. She could at some point even take us to Village Market. I remember when I was in high school. Yeah, like there's always those family members and cousins and aunties and uncles who are always just like they're larger. They have this larger than life personality, and then they also go out of their way. They want to spoil you. And say, umetoka tu shule unaka umeboeka, wacha tuende shopping, mbona unaboeka, you know? They bring that, you know, vibrance to the family. I don't know if any of you has had, or maybe a cousin, you can go.
Okay, you know, when you are growing up, I can say the Christmas has lost its relevance.
You think so?
Yes, when you are growing up, during the Christmas time, this was the time where if you get out, like everywhere, people are just celebrating. You see families have reunited, people are many in the village. People used to come many. Even me personally, this was the time when I will come out of our home, go and celebrate somewhere in a town, yes, and then you come back in the evening. It was very, very fun.
Yeah.
We understand that the world has evolved.
I think inaitwa kutembea, si ndio?
Kutembea, we really used to do that.
And it really meant a lot because it was also a time when you're going to showcase your new outfits.
Yes, your outfit.
Wale wase mtano
some funny clothes.
Ndio hizi viatu zangu. Ndio hiyo tumepakwa mafuta ya Vaseline ama Valon. I remember that. Valon. Hiyo mafuta bado iko by the way.
Yeah.
Valon, yeah?
Yes. You see, at that time, even if you had 100 shillings, you were very happy because you see this one is enough. Hii imekutosha ile yako tu yote. Uta celebrate with friends, with cousins. You just go and watch things. You see, going to the city back then, it was very difficult. That was an opportunity which will always comes once.
Yeah.
Come natembea, some things like that. And in that time, we also make friends.
Yeah.
You will make other new friends.
Yes. Or you meet like a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Siku Christmas amekukrashia juu umevaa poa, you know.
Yes.
Interesting. What do you think of the same?
The same I can say that cousins, aunties who are like life of the moment, like they'll take you to better places. Others they'll tell you, come, we go for a church event, a camp. Yeah. Something like that. You can walk, take you to, like you can say, let's go to the waterfront, Karen, let's play the bowling, things like that. Yes, I can say I'm also one of them.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of the cousins who takes, ama you're the one who's been taken?
I'm the plug.
Oh, you're the plugging places for events.
Yeah.
Which one do you plug in by them mostly, especially during this festive season that you'd recommend?
For this festive season, according, you can go to Tigoni, Limuru areas. Also you can go, there's Next Gen Mall, to Rivers, the good places. Also you can decide to go feed the giraffes.
At Giraffe Manor.
Yeah, or have a potluck in Karura. Yeah, it's better.
Okay, but you know the places you're mentioning are city-centered for people who have the vicinity of the urban areas. I'm trying to imagine somebody from Bondo, the interiors of Homa Bay as well, or Kakamega kule ndani, or a place called Huisero. I think they also have a place called Homusalaba. You know, the interiors. But how can they tap into such fun during this holiday?
Places like you have mentioned, Siaya, Homa Bay, Kisumu. Those are places where they have the lake. Yeah. So they can go to the shore, enjoy, have the cool breeze.
Fishing,
eat fish. People.
Swimming.
Yeah. People from Kakamega, they have good hotels. I've been there. Even Kakamega Forest. The place has good things. If you have some money, you can go down to Diani, Mombasa. Also Nakuru is a better place.
Right. I'm also looking at it because when you have the money to live, because I believe for me, if you have money, you can enter anywhere. You can go back to Kakamega, come back to Kisumu, go to Coast, and come back to where you are. So you just need money to facilitate the whole process.
It's not all about money. Places like Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya, you just wake up, decide to go with your cooking materials, go and...
But you'll need facilitation and
transport.
Transport, and you'll pay money.
There are some, for those who are coming a little bit far, but for those who are around the...
Yeah, within the same vicinity location, sure, it's easier.
You can have it. And
it's easier.
It's not that most of the places are too expensive. Yeah, you can just sema hii acha niweke pesa tu nijaribu. Yeah, great memories.
Yeah, there's something interesting Bob mentioned. The way Christmas used to be way back. If you compare it right now when you were kids, it's totally different. The sense, the mood, the things that you take pride in as being bought for a t-shirt, kupakwa mafuta ya Valon, kupika chapati for the first time, especially in the interiors, Yeah, those things meant they were big. They were big. I think there's a friend of mine who was telling me there's a way she would tell kwetu tunapika chapati usikuje, hatukuongeleshi leo because there's that smell of chapati and kuku nini, and it just sets the mood, and you can feel the air of the holidays.
What I can say personally is that for me, I feel when we are young, in those eras you mentioned, we used to enjoy because we did not have any responsibility. You're just a kid. Umepakwa Nivea, ama your older sibling amekuja na a good perfume from pale ametoka, pale amesoma, pale anafanya kazi. You do not have any responsibilities. But najua saa hizi,
and then you're also in the tight unit of family.
Uko kwa family, you don't see. But for now, somebody like me, if I get out of the doorstep or the nini, utasikia mkuu, si uniachie hata so hapo. I guess when you grow up, they lose value, the Christmas hype. But I think which imebaki relevant and outstanding, it's nini crossing the year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that USJ anaka may lose value, but things like Christmas, nowadays there are other families who don't celebrate because, like for comrade, me, I don't see the essence because kama ni chapati nimekula mingi.
They used to say zitamea kwa tumbo.
Zitamea, nimekula ka tuseme nini bundle mzima ya unga hii mwaka. So
no big deal.
Si kitu new,
Right. Bob, do you think as well for maybe for someone when I'd say they're not planning to visit anywhere, like for them it's hana hiyo plan, yeye atatulia kwenye yako apambane na maisha, tutaona na January ikiwezekana, ikiwezekana pia si eti tutaonana, it's not a promise. How would you tell them to express their closeness to the farm, ndio feel enyewe hata kama ukuji tumependa, there's that tumependa, nimependa sijapenda. I've heard that cartoon comedian say, enyewe even if you're not turning up for this family reunion, this family meeting, at least to may feel your voice, your presence has been recorded, yeah?
Okay. You see, not every time you should be going. Maybe due to the fair, and by the way, at this festive season, this is the time when the buses are full, getting that time to travel. You want to book, you get that it's full, you can't get that time. So I would advise that at this time, if you have something, at least you can send them some cash. They can use that cash to do something that is worth. Yes.
Yeah. For those who are outside country.
Outside the country.
Yeah.
You know, if you're outside the country, coming back, it's something which you have planned.
Yeah.
So maybe if they had not planned, I think we are in a modern era. This is the time which you can even decide to make a conference, family call, that video one. At least you reunite with your friends through the media.
Yeah.
The family through the media.
Technology.
Yeah,
now
technology. We are in a
advanced
technologist world. Yes.
But then that means you've also upgraded your farm to a point. If it's Shosho who wants to hear you, ajue kama uko na mtu ama hauna mtu ama sauti bado ni yako ama imebadilika, she'll have to have the gadget, meaning you have to purchase it for her or for him if it's the grandpa.
You know, even if they have one, there is something there. If they have one, of course, if they want to see, they have to come together. See, that coming together is also another thing. It's also another good thing. They've come together to speak to their loved one. Yes.
Yeah. I think that really works in this day and time, right? Like let's say for someone who's stuck maybe could be of a situation. They don't have plans of coming back this year because it's very costly. It's almost costing you $500,000 to travel back if we are in UK, USA, and those other, far off overseas countries. Flight back, because also during this holiday season, ticketing and the prices is just way up there. So it means the cost of to and fro, you must have budgeted for it. Maybe, I think I interviewed someone here who was talking about the tours and the travels. Even for people that are going for holidays, you must have planned for your holidays early in the beginning of the year. So, meaning if you're to go to Diani and you know very well you'll spend around, let's say a week, or maybe even for a month, because there's people who begin vacation early. You spent close to, or rather you've saved close to, let's say, 300,000 Kenyan shillings. Because also these hotels, especially these 5-star hotels, they are very expensive. And some of them are busy, and some of them have even doubled their packages. So it's not child's play to spend a night there. You're almost losing 10,000 to even more per night, So it's costly, meaning that you've saved a lot before you manage to transition from another country.
What I can say, you have stayed in such a setting, like from your childhood to Form 4, then to university you went back and you are going home and coming back. So I always say it's for our Western brothers who are compulsory to go home. It's not compulsory. You can have the how holidays are here in Nairobi. You can just stay in Nairobi, see how holidays are in Nairobi. It's not a must you go back home. And also you can decide, let me video call them. People who are in overseas, it's hard. Like for now, you can't come. You'll spend more than 2 million, say, on a roughly budget. Say, coming from US, way and back ticket, people are expecting more. You can just video call or just talk to them, because for now, like, it's peak time, because even you say going to Diani, it will cost more than 300K staying there for a week, because hotel prices are up. You can pay even for 30,000 a night to sleep.
At a 5-star.
So I guess it's not a must
and eating the
for
best
you to
foods,
travel.
It means that you've transitioned to Swahili, ushakuwa, towards the Swahili culture thing. And I think they're going to make a lot of money this festive season, and they've started already.
The hotels which are next to the which have beaches are too expensive, because you get like going to Nyali, you can be charged 80,000 a night for a good hotel, and it has a beach. a traveling vehicle around Mombasa, so it's expensive. Not a must
And
somebody.
maybe that is without food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for the accommodation, yeah.
You can just say, for this year, let me see how Nairobi behaves on holiday
Works
season.
for you.
Yeah, it's not a must you go back.
Siku ya Mbukinya zimejaa saizi. Kwanza kuna yenye ilitoka 5-4, they're almost right now karibu wanaelekea ilitwaje Olewat, because wanaenda hadi Kakamega, Burnt Forest, you know, and Mbuzi's and everything from Kawangware and hey my goodness, what is it? Like I can imagine you moving your whole entire household in Nairobi, taking it to Western on a whole bus, and then mid-Jan you're back again. It must be really exhausting.
Very hectic.
Me, I can't.
Yeah, I had a certain joke, like they always say, they marry for this season, like for this year. Atamhamisha mchukue ushago, bwana ndiye atarudi na ataanza ingine tena.
Hadi vitanda bana, zinaitwaje zile matandiko za kitanda, the lower ones, yeah? Zimewekwa
which hold the mattress.
Hadi with cats and mbuzi ziko hapo juu na hey man, hadi vifaranga. I don't know if you've seen that. Right now Mbukinya is almost, you know, karibu inafika.
They do not complain about the cost. They usually free, they pay.
And plus hizo magari zinawapeleka is like, it's basically for people who are Western.
Country bus.
You see, this festive season, it's always a norm that if you want to celebrate, you go to Diani.
Yeah.
But there are some places which are even, I think, much better than Diani. Some, like they are back in our county, Homa Bay, there is this Rusinga Island. There is some good places. There's Takawiri. Yeah. There is this place called Rusinga Blue Ridge. They are very, very good places. And I think they're also fair. The price is fair compared to Diani. Yes. And you see, this is the time when you have to be felt. At this Christmas time, people have to feel it. Una celebrate ile unasema nimetwanga sherehe moja safi ya kufunga mwaka.
Yeah. Yes. Ya kukumbukwa. Itaenda kwa vitabu.
Sherehe ya eulogy.
Yeah. Lazima nitetemeshe mtaa.
Yeah, also to add is exactly right, because it's not all time you go to Mombasa, Diani. They are good. Even the Turkana, Lake Turkana has a very good show. The clubbing Turkana is very wild.
You have not been to Turkana. You've been there?
Yeah. And it's very amazing. It's a good experience.
There's a lake there by the way as well.
Lake Turkana.
Yeah.
Down when you go to, you know, places like Eldoret is sherehe 24 hours, Monday to Monday.
I've been to LD and I know the ecosystem, especially around the university areas and the town, the CBD.
It's sherehe Monday to Monday. So
and there's developed places as well that are really so cool. Yeah.
And people always forget Masai Mara, Amboseli. They are good places. And what I can also say, people you have struggled the whole year, so you want to also put this holiday on a budget. No, just be free, spend the money.
Be free, you know?
We'll start thinking January.
Hey, hapo ni dangerous bana.
Kama ukununua gari, hautanunua December.
Hautanunua, maybe miracles happen bana. You might buy it, you know?
Yeah, there are miracles, but if
but
you
not
say
for
for
a car,
instance,
but see a gari.
Yeah, huku umechanga utanunua gari. So go that 30,000.
Yeah. Are you following ile nini anaitwaje this comedian? Kama umebakisha 1,000 ikule tu haitakusaidia.
Haitajenga gorofa.
Haitakununulia gari. But anyways, when you look at it, it makes sense. But if you consciously squint, you can squeeze 300 na uirushe mshwari and you'll still be fine.
And you'll be fine.
You see, Nyashinsky sings that even in his song.
Yeah.
That is this phrase, he says that he remember when he used to live for tomorrow. Now he live for today. Let us focus on this day. Tuishi tu maisha yenye tunafaa. Ile tu maisha yenye unajisikia. Every moment of your life you should be celebrating.
I can also add, unaishi very basic, nika kesho iko promise.
Have fun. Ensure that you have fun. So any social media tukiendanga.
Okay. On X you'll find me at Policymaker, at Nick Onyancha. Instagram it's honorable_Nick_Ayora.
Right. What about
you, Bob? At X I'm Senior Faris. Instagram I'm Senior Faris. everywhere is Senior Faris.
Right.
Yes.
Ensure that you follow them.
Yes.
As you also follow
and
us.
Also, and also
Yes.
to add, we have a blogging forum at X, Instagram called The Critical Lens.
The Critical Lens. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
When is it happening?
It's like just a blogging forum. Is a forum where people share their minds.
Oh, it's a website or platform,
yeah.
So they can go check it out, whatever
people
has been
share their
shared,
minds,
yeah?
the political minds, sports,
Once again, the handle?
The Critical Lens.
The Critical Lens.
Yes.
Ensure that you plug it in very fast. Thank you so much, Bob and Nick, for coming through and sharing your amazing insights.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too. We definitely see you tomorrow bright and early at Y254 channel at Brand Sakona 1. See you tomorrow.